Yes. I threw everybody a curveball. I started with the typical boring countdown. Yes, I switched to sports ball. And even though my background is here in sports ball, I wanted to confuse everybody tonight for the fun of it. But mostly, I wanted to share the Mrs. Wonderful countdown she made for our sports stream Wednesday night. And so everybody gets to see a little bit more of that. So let me not scare you guys. We'll switch back to our normal background here. Your stars in outer space. So let me so we don't have the riots and the pitchforks and all that kind of stuff. How are y'all tonight? It's a wonderful Friday night. I am turning the emote only off on our Twitch side. So hey, follow us on Twitch. Make sure you subscribe, or make sure you're still subscribed on the YouTube side. We are at 566. Seems like we're kind of hanging a little bit, but hey, we're good. Let's get 34 more for 100, and Hungry Boy will stay up 48 hours for us. No, I'm just kidding. But speaking of that, let's bring him on first. The master of ceremonies, the Joker, the jester of this kingdom here. Hungry Boy, how are you, Hungry?
I'm fantastic tonight because number one, that was a great intro and a very funny joke, since you know I can only stay up for like 7 hours at a time.
You know what? I think, have I been muted the whole damn time?
No.
Okay, because my YouTube, my StreamYard tab was muted, and I was not hearing a damn word you said. So It's like, so I've already boomered 3 times already, but hey, at least the first one I could cover up, because I wanted to show Mrs. Great intro on our football.
Can you hear
side.
me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. I had I don't know. I think when I was going to deal with my Twitch side, I somehow muted. Now I don't see a lot of riots or people in the chat saying that I was see, it worked. It worked.
Yay.
But yes.
Yay, mommy.
Yes,
but I mean,
exactly.
tonight is very special because this is the only episode of Buck where we get the sports alongside the
sports
sci-fi.
ball. And it's a guy that likes sports. Remember the comics? Yes. He likes sports and all. Exactly. Yes. Well, speaking of sports, here comes the other guy in this sports world with us. Hoping to do more stuff coming down the road. Did I make him the guy in charge of our defense and stuff? It's the great JT Kirk. Hello.
Hail.
Captain.
Good evening.
Hail to you. Evening.
Good evening. And good afternoon, or is it good evening for you as well, Hungry?
It's early afternoon, or as we say in Australia, Arvo.
Interesting.
That's for shooter. Yes.
Arvo, like Kevin Arbo or Sarbo. Anyway, sorry, that was just a bad check. Trying to get a Hercules reference in there for some stupid reason.
Why not?
Yeah,
well, why not? Dadman, it's been a long week. It's been a tiring week. I've been going through a lot of training montages because, one of tonight's episodes, I feel like if you're not training while watching, you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretending to point at people and then they would feel a punch. It was good times, but man, I almost broke a sweat. Let me tell you.
Wow. That will be interesting. I will say there is a lot with a couple of these episodes for me, but hey, guys, we got the ugliness out of the whole panel now.
There's a lot of breaking sweat for these episodes. A lot of breaking sweat in these episodes. For
nothing better than talking about breaking sweat than us 3 ugly mugs. Let's bring in the kitty cat that brings grace, beauty, and class to this stream tonight. Keeping us guys in check and actually bringing out wonderful points of interest. It is the one, the only, the great Daisy Blossom. Hello, Daisy.
Hello, JT. I was picking up a long rod to do my exercises while watching.
Oh, really?
Were you like the weightlifter guy with the little pole, like with no weights on it? It's like, I guess he's pushing to get some kind of resistance. All right.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't strain yourself. Athletic injuries can be devastating to one's health long term.
Oh gosh, wait a second. Simpsons.
Yes.
Exercise every day, Marge. Don't stress yourself, Homer. Good idea, Marge. So,
nice.
But Daisy, how are you, my friend? How are you feeling tonight? I know you've had a busy week coming up too.
Yes, it has been a busy week, and it will be a busy week, but it's Friday, so I'm ready for Buck Rogers. Let's go.
Yay!
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's do what we usually do. Like everybody else does on YouTube, we're going to take a look and say hello to the people in the chat. And Sci-Fi Mommy is here right in the leadoff position. So, hey. All right. And recently got 100 subscribers. So I think that's got to be what the 100 in the background is. Great to see you, Mombi, today. Hope
Congratulations.
Working hard out there. And of course, this is the guy that needs no introduction. His fur does all the talking. It's the great Snorter Poops Cooper. Well, humans and other critters. So, and of course, we got this Daisy Blossom that's here. And a little bit of talking here. JT Kirk. Hell, JT. And
yes, indeedy.
The royalty is late again.
We could have
Not
you
my fault.
banished from the kingdom for that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just saying. Well, yeah, JT Kirk's in charge of the defense and security, so you never know.
He's in charge of the pew-pews.
Exactly. And you're in charge of the jokes, Hungry. So.
Well, that's poo-poo versus pew-pew, but yes.
Absolutely. There we go. Well, let's say hello to the great Dave C. Hell to you, Dave C. I got your email.
Dave!
But thank you. Thanks for being here tonight, and hope to get your input from the chat as much as you can. So, and there, Sci-Fi Mombi, I'm confused. Yes, I did. I called an audible 5 or 10 seconds into that countdown. I'm like, let's spice it up and see if anybody will notice. Well, they noticed. So, well, the missus worked really hard on it for Wednesday night. So I was like, why not show it to everybody else? So, oh gosh, Master said Flash Gordon instead of Buck Rogers, or why this football? We've got our sports. Oh man. Okay. Oh my goodness. So
I liked Flash Gordon.
What the heck is this? Yeah, I've heard of that, but I've not heard of Punk Rocker 0000. What is? Because it went in through Masters Maniac PB. Did you change? No, Hungry Boy's the one that changes his name all the time. What is the Punk Rocker 4 zeros?
I think that might be Snorter Poops' combination to his luggage.
Oh, because I know it just popped up there. Now I'm confused, Sci-Fi Mombi. But okay, all right. Well, we'll go with that. So
I thought I'd hidden all of those punk rock photographs of myself as a teenager. They were not supposed to get out.
Ooh, oh man. Oh, we have. Oh, now I'm blushing, and now I'm shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh well, as long as you no AI's involved, you're good. But hey, Admiral Teague is here. Hello, Piops.
Teagus.
Hello, Admiral on deck.
Hello,
Admiral on deck.
Teagus knows of Mary Warrenov. He's going to be looking forward to the second episode.
Here's Dave. Yeah.
He had a fun stream earlier today. If you're looking for something later, maybe tomorrow, you're working around the house, go back and listen to his stream. If you've listened to everything that Dadman already put up and the missus already put up and so on. It was fun. I was listening while lurking and working, but good times.
Exactly.
Anyway.
All right. Yes, Teague. He likes his football too. He even studies college football if needed. Well, Dave C says, I'm from Austria. Well, throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
Oh, Dave, why do you do that to me? Oh! Okay, here, shrimp only go into a shrimp cocktail. What goes on the Barbie is a prawn, a king prawn.
Yes.
Nearly the size of a man's hand.
A glorified shrimp.
Yep.
Oh, dead man. Oh.
There is a difference between a shrimp. Okay, let's do this. We'll have to stay with Buck Rogers.
There's a difference between a shrimp and a prawn.
Okay, let's do this, and we'll stay with Buck Rogers for now. If we're in the mood later, and I decide not Fortnite, and if I decide I want to do a late night stream, Hungry, if you come on and we'll talk. We will look at pictures. We will see the difference between shrimp and prawn. Okay.
All righty.
All right, and if not tonight, one night. That's got to be a night for a late night squirrel stream. How's that sound?
That sounds fun. I'm just going to say for now, a tiger prawn tastes better than a giant prawn. The giant prawn has a bigger size. The flavor's not as nice, but they're all like 5 times bigger than a shrimp.
Well,
that's it.
A tiger's like 4 billion times bigger when you look at it in real life. So anyway, Mistral Niblick's here, JT's friend. Hey, I felt one of those.
And all of our friends too.
Yes,
yep.
I know.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you.
So,
well, okay, I did something, I guess.
Oh no! I was making all kinds of jokes about almost breaking a sweat working out, and then you're like, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, let's bring in the next person.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Nice.
JT
I don't
Kirk
think
said,
he got it.
No.
image search boat
Anyway.
Rocksters Olympiad, and you'll see what JT's talking about earlier. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I miss so much. It
Oh,
doesn't
dear.
matter. I just have to laugh at it. Oh gosh. So
I mean, before we move into that, the thing is, it's going to sound like I'm making fun of the Olympiad episode, but I'm not, because as Dadman knows,
Yep.
I'm a massive fan of MST3K, and this is like the MST3K episode
Yep.
of Buck Rogers, so I love
Yep.
it. I do.
Rowan McPhee, welcome, Rowan McPhee.
Great
I've
name.
not seen you in a while, but hey, welcome. Mrs. is here, Mrs.
Hello, Mrs. Hello.
Mrs.
I'll pay y'all $50
Oh,
to make her
and
come
look
on.
who
No,
else
I'm
just
kidding. Well,
came
I
in the
see
door here.
Buddy Hepburn is here. Buddy, the hills are alive with the sound of wallabies. Well, actually, on the Mrs. show today,
Nice.
the Mrs. had a show today, and I guess it was Sound of the Music or something. She was talking about that Hills Alive was sung off and Fly Off the Cliff or something. So hopefully she can clarify that in the chat. It was just I was busy working today and had that come through. Snort Poop is throwing another hand grenade on the Barbie stupid doll.
Ow, ouch.
Okay, Dave's giving Dumb and Dumber quotes. Let's see who else. Corey Cochran. Hey, Corey.
Hello,
Good to
Corey.
see you today. And let's see. Okay. Did I miss anybody? It's Maria Von
Jedi.
Trapp's birthday.
Oh, good one,
That's what
Mrs.
Oh, nice.
Good one.
Yes.
Jedi Bill's
yes,
here.
Jedi Bill. Hello, Jedi Bill. Good to
Hello,
see you tonight.
Jedi.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello.
Yeah, it was funny the way she started singing this today. I'm like sitting here because I work from home, so I got to hear her like twice in the broadcast and in live. So, hello.
How did you get that really cool? How come you get like our faces really big in the chat?
Because I'm good.
That's amazing. I'm sorry, guys.
You're too beautiful. You
Based
need to be
all of
answer
them are
right
like
there, as
that.
the kids would say.
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
did you
Very
do
good.
that?
Even Admiral Teagues,
Yeah, how did mine are? That's cool.
Jedi Bill, Buddy Hepburn,
I'll have to figure. You have to
Masters.
show me what you did.
Ron.
Okay, sorry guys.
I don't know what I did. That's the magic of Dadman. It just happens.
Dadman is a
This is
coven.
really not-
Dadman is a coven.
No, I'm not. I'm not a bunch of witches.
Okay, bye.
No, that's about the episode later. That's second episode.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I that was a surprise. Well, hello. Well, let's show Sci-Fi Mombi and JT Kirk. That had, and you got to have the polar bear. You know, I didn't even notice that. So,
Tuna
Corey,
eater.
Corey's got a nice look there.
Mm.
Let's see, Dave C with his eyeballs glowing.
That's
Low
low pan.
Okay,
Yes.
low pan. Not accused. Okay, let's see. And we got to do one more here. And Mr. Niblick here with the Enterprise.
Mm.
So, all right, and I am going to go with, yes, we've gone off the rails already, but I don't care. It's what it is. This one, the great Bombay cat
Mm.
Binks. I tell you.
Yep.
Nothing
He's a
like a
Bombay
good
cat.
old black cat. Absolutely. So thank you, everybody. Hope I didn't miss anybody with that detour, but if I did, I'm sorry. But we're going to get going into this episode. We'll.
Yay.
Oh, does that avatar make my snoot look big?
No. We booped his
Proportioned, well proportioned,
Well
and at
proportioned.
most distinguished.
Mhm.
snoot. Definitely.
Mm. All right, so let's go. Let's see. I think Master Rowan was asking, "How was your day?" Day's been pretty good. Busy, bit tired. The whole weekend is going to be very, very quick. And tomorrow I've got a nonstop day. Tomorrow I got to visit a fort in the morning. Get home to go see Gojira -1 minus color. And then we got a show tomorrow night at 8:00 tonight, and then hopefully karaoke after that. So it's going to be crazy. So, well,
You
Mrs.
can't go to the fort at night. You have to go in the morning.
No.
Anyway.
No.
What do you-
Ow.
The wrong fort night.
Ow.
I'll leave the jokes to hungry. I'll leave the jokes to hungry. I'll stick to the pew pew.
Stick with a pew pew. Exactly.
Oh,
all right.
dear.
Well, folks, the first episode we had tonight. Wait. Master says, alternatively, his eyes also could ask, "Are you a god?" And what do we
Yes.
say? The answer is always yes. If anybody
Yes.
asks, are you a god? The answer is yes.
Yes.
And I will tease something for everybody. Masters and I had talked about it during a stream a while back that the new Ghostbusters movie is teased to come out in March. I think around March 24th. I want to see it. I saw a trailer, the big evil thing in the cloud. Oh God, forget.
No spoilers.
But
No
that
spoilers.
that image I saw, what's a public trailer, but yeah, the image I saw makes me want to see the movie. And what we're planning on, I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do either dailies, shows leading up to its release from Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, maybe some of the Ghostbuster cartoon if I can get it, if there's interest. And yes, Ghostbusters 2016, because it will be the one time we allow negativity and bashing. Okay, it'll be like our Pillage the Village. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, I'm serious. Everybody's allowed to say what they want to around here. So, exactly. And yes, we had talked about a pre-show. So, and that's what we plan to do in March. So, all right. We're 20
Let's hit
minutes
Olympiad.
in.
Let's hit
Yes,
Olympiad.
let's hit Olympiad. Yes, because I know episode 19 Olympiad, directed by Larry Stewart, written by Craig Buck. First aired February 7th, 1980, episode 53421. I can start with this episode because it's got a guest special person from the 1970s and the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hit. Buck is invited to present the Earth's flag at the 2492 Olympic Games on the planet Mycos. There he meets an astrosled pilot named Laura Tizian who begs Buck to help her boyfriend Jorax Leet escape from the games. Jorax is from a repressive world called Lozaria and is trying to defect with Laura to Earth to escape being used as a political figurehead by the Lozarian hierarchy. But they have implanted a molecular bomb in his head, which, if detonated, would not only kill him, but anyone around him. Why did they Well, that's what's so good about Running Man. Anyway, but hey. Lozaria's ruler is the satrap, a dictator who ruthlessly controls athletes in much the same way that the Soviet Union and East Germany did during the Cold War. With Laura and Wilma's help, Buck tries to steal a remote detonator, which is in the possession of Jorax's ruthless sponsor, Alaric. However, another problem arises when Dr. Theopolis warns a backup detonation signal can be sent from the Lozarian homeworld, and their only chance is to outrun the signal through the Stargate. All right, so like this, buddy, it's not a tumor. Get to the chopper. So that's another movie we got to talk about sometime. But okay, with this episode, they did say that a note with this was that the romance between Laura Tizian and Jorax Leet is based upon the romance between Czech disc thrower Olga Fikatova and American hammer thrower Hal Connolly during the 1956 Summer Olympic Games. The 1980 Summer Olympics were held in Moscow. When the show was aired, it had not been decided that the USA would boycott those games. Guest stars in this were Judith Chapman as Larry Tizian. Some of these I've not heard of. Barney McFadden as Jorax Leet. Nicholas Coster, who I did recognize. I don't remember the roles, but I know that face is familiar as anything. As Alaric. Paul Manty as Carl. Paul Kofus as Zagon. And John A.Z. as the satrap. Not known here, not mentioned here, for a guest appearance that was in here was Thomas Hollywood Henderson from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yay!
Of course, I think he was in like one scene. Did y'all count? I mean, that's the biggest question I had. Hollywood Henderson was a big football player for the Cowboys in the 70s. JT, did you I don't know if you recognized him. Did you notice?
I didn't pick up on it, no. But I figured there was going to be somebody prominent in this episode.
I think he was the one guy that took over the camera at the beginning of the episode and then never showed up again.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
I'm like, what the heck? I mean, we're talking about an ultimate tease. That's like teasing the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and you get one friggin' 2-second still of them.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, they used to do that with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. They'd be in and out, just whatever they could do. But yeah, I know we're seeing the continued trend of these 70s and 80s shows of the guest stars, special guest appearances and stuff in here. So now that I've gone on that rabbit trail with that, because that's the thing that bugged me a lot with this episode. Two things bugged me with this episode. One, that, and two, the Jorax Leet's like outfit. It's like it's like a tank top that comes down to like right above his booby parts.
Yeah,
And
well,
where it turns
Yeah,
is like
that-
really bizarrely looking. I mean, it's almost like, are you trying to not? I mean, men don't wear shirts a lot of times, but or go full tank top. This was like very bizarre. It's like all the way down just to the end and then stopped. I don't know.
You hope they did it in one take, because I saw that and I was like, there's going to be some chafing issues on the set. Yeah. It was awkward and terrible.
Okay, men have nipples too, and they can chafe too. So let's just get that out of the way. You know,
God.
no, seriously, no. It's like, I was recognizing what you guys are talking about. I love the episode anyway, but please go on.
I don't know. I mean, of course, we said, I know you were talking about the Lycra out there. Folks, Daisy, what did you think about the fashion? Many of our episodes, we talked about the fashion, the dancing, the music. How about the fashion in this, the athletic fashion? What did you think?
The lack of fashion. Fashion. They were saving the budget on
Liam
this
Gray
one
Wolf.
for the second episode. They were saving it for the second episode.
Well, hello,
Daisy,
Liam Gray Wolf. Good to see you,
Daisy,
Liam.
hit us hard, Daisy. Hit us with no mercy.
I don't believe that falls under the definition of fashion.
Was this the era where tracksuits were fashionable to wear other places than the track?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they had
But
minor characters in tracksuits.
They had
That
a lot of
wasn't fashionable.
tracksuits here.
yeah, they were all over the place with, if you watch the Olympics, the outfits are different depending on your sport. And this was just, I don't know what they were going for, but it was very odd. And then the whole layout of the practice room where they were practicing these sports. Did you see the track on the floor with
Yes!
the three? I'm going, excuse me, that is not how a track works. There is no way you could run around in those little lanes without getting in the other lanes and making those turns like that. Who did that?
I thought that was the actual. I thought that was the actual facility where they did the games. I didn't. I missed that it was the practice. I know that the sleds were out in space though.
Yeah, they said it's the morning practice is over. Go back to your sleep pods or whatever the heck they said.
Oh, a lot different than the modern Olympics, but because
There was no difference.
Yeah, no, that's
whatsoever.
true. It was.
Nowadays
Daisy,
it's like all kinds of craziness in the Olympic Village. Go ahead, Hungry.
But a question for Daisy, since we're asking Daisy about the costumes, and Daisy and I get on the costumes a little bit. The thing is, how did you feel about the people dressed in pest control bodysuits that were supposed to be the people for the UBC, United Broadcasting Service? I mean, how cheap could we go?
I know, and it's like, have you ever seen those announcers not wear fancy schmancy suits to these things? They don't wear track suits to interview the contestants. Could they not somewhere on their studio lot find some suits to put on these people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, they have a costume department somewhere. They could have borrowed something.
Right. Precisely. And there was one of those tracksuits, Daisy, where I swear to God, my mom bought me for that from the Australian version of Kmart for $12 in 1979. They were cheaping out here. They were cheaping out severely, but we get the costumes back in the following episode. But here, the costumes were depressing. I mean, the amount of tank tops, the amount of track pants, and shoes that we were able to buy as teenagers. Or pre-teenagers in 1979. But here's a good costume. This is acceptable.
Well, you're talking about.
She wasn't an athlete.
I don't know what she's competing in, but it's not a sport.
No, I don't think so. That's not on the agenda for the Olympic sports.
See, Buck is in
But
somewhat.
his outfit, look at that. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just like a windbreaker jacket.
Well, it looked athletic
green.
light though.
It is a pretty green, but I no. And he
No.
wasn't an athlete. I get that, but
Okay.
How do you
If
feel
that-
about Wilma's outfit, though, Daisy? I mean, come on, Wilma's outfit.
If
is this the one? I'm sorry.
This
now.
is
I'm
in the
getting my
boxing
two
ring.
confused. Is this the one where she's the dumb blonde?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because see, there's where
Yeah,
she is here.
yeah. That's what I thought. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is because this is actually based off a whole bunch of stuff that was going on between us and the USSR at this point.
Oh,
She's-
I remember. Yes.
Yeah, so do I.
was there. I remember. Yeah. And I was thinking about the defections, and it was quite
Yes.
obvious that Leet's team was the USSR and how
Mhm.
they treat their, and they snuck in sort of the performance enhancing, the East German, the women's East German swim team.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that whole thing.
But there was a situation called the honey pot, where you would have a female spy on either side of the Iron Curtain seduce
Mhm.
people into making mistakes, and I thought it was interesting that they did that here with Wilma, letting her be the honey pot spy. And I was
Yes.
wondering what your thoughts about that were, Daisy.
Well, I thought they projected it when they started to say that the gentleman's only weakness was beautiful women.
And
I'm
many.
going, and they're having this conversation, and I'm going, yeah, it's going to be Wilma. I mean, are we trying to hide that? I mean, hello,
Yeah.
duh. And then when she had the blonde wig on, I was,
Oh my God,
okay.
Snortapoopus.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I see that. But I mean, because we're of an age, Daisy, it was like Deborah, not Harry from Blondie, the look.
Yeah. And I was, no, she is so beautiful.
Yes.
Woman
Yeah.
is so beautiful, and you could make her into the brunette bimbo if that's what you wanted to do. And that outfit was lovely,
Yes.
but I'm going,
And she had the little shiny star sticker on her cheekbone.
on her, yeah, on the side of her face.
And she
But I
also had
did
that
like-
triangle on her shoulder.
was
too,
that
don't
like her
forget.
Yelp rating or something?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out.
Oh, JT, no.
I did like the way that she, as an actress, continues to show how she would be Wilma, even in this getup,
Mhm.
and then she would have to turn it on to be
Yep.
the dumb blonde, and she would do a little inhale, and then we talked. Like, oh my goodness! And
Yeah, she
I
did
don't
that good.
have a single brain cell in my head.
And then the next, jumping the gun, the next episode, she's very decisive, a field officer.
Yes.
Giving commands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
before this, when we were looking at her on the luxury liner cruiser, she was playing the elegant, rich, intelligent
Yep.
individual with the perm. So she's had a range of doing these kind of roles.
Let me do something real quick while we're in here. We got 13 watching here on the YouTube side. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. We got 16 overall. Follow us on the Twitch side. It's wonderful support on a Friday night, guys, with so
Buddy.
much out there. Corey, I'm going to talk about this towards the end of the stream when we're wrapping up. But hang around. I will do that. Snortapoopus was banned from the Olympics. Apparently, some of the competitors disappeared, and they blamed him.
Mhm.
The Masters suggested that maybe he was Tanya Harding's security bear.
No.
Oh,
Wrong Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. And then Snortapoopus was reminding me about what to do with that cursor. Hey, they got in the way, So
now
anyway.
see, I actually like the tracksuit here that Buck's wearing. I think it's very futuristic. If I saw this jacket at Goodwill today, I'd be like, oh, someone had a really nice jacket back in the 90s.
Precisely.
Oh my gosh.
It
Buddy
kind of looks more 90s than it does 70s.
Yeah,
today.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Nice one, buddy. Nice one.
Buddy is on fire. There's one earlier I would not play from the Meet the
Snort.
Fockers.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
between Masters and Snort, they're getting cute on the East German swim team too. So
Yeah, they are. Exactly. We
smart
bring
chat,
back the 80s.
smart chat.
Very smart chat. Really fun, lively, and everything else. So, okay. Overall, basically what we have, we talked about the plot of the espionage angle, the defection, all this, but kind of gets stuck in the middle. And at the end, it all works out. They get the escape, and of course, the sponsor ends up having to do the honorable thing of taking care of himself.
Oh, you
Since
mean
he failed.
the
Yeah.
assistant to the satrap, and that's
Right.
one of. This is my
Yeah.
only problem with the damn episode.
Okay.
Satrap is
Yep.
a Persian term. It's not a USSR term.
Really?
So
Okay.
Yeah.
satrap
Well,
is
explain
Persian.
that. Explain that a little bit more for people like me and things.
Okay, so a satrap is basically equivalent in the Persian world to a viceroy in the European feudal society. So it's somebody who is set by their ruler to organize certain things in a foreign area.
Viceroy,
And-
like Newt Gunray from Phantom Menace.
Oh, dag nabbit, you had to go there. But yes,
Okay,
yes, no. But I'm just
gotcha,
saying
gotcha.
it was one moment where the scriptwriters thought we'll choose a clever term, but it didn't really apply. They could have chose other terms, but it still works because most people are not going to know what satrap means, especially not 9-year-olds. And
Right.
overall, it was a lovely kind of mixture of political and personal stuff. And as Daisy knows, we did have people who had very verboten, prohibited, interdicted romances at that time between countries. But, and there was one, some people would complain about this. I don't, about the soap opera acting, of the actress who plays Laura, going from merely chapfallen to like a full 1969 teary-eyed episode of General Hospital set in space. And they even had the sad violin music for it. But this was an actress who started out in The Young and the Restless. So it does make sense. And we did have these romances that were not going to be allowed to work out unless somebody defected back in the 1960s, 70s, and early 80s. So that's part of the episode that a lot of people mock, but I do like it. I think it works.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
when
did
they
like-
said satrap, I thought satrap to whom? I thought maybe to Ardala's father. I thought maybe we would get this to go into Ardala again somehow. But
that would have been better.
Sadly, her name wasn't dropped.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a much better idea, JT.
Right,
And then when we actually see the satrap,
And that's an
he does
interesting
look
point.
Persian. He doesn't look Russian at all. He looks totally Persian, and yet they're doing the Russian thing that we were all living through.
That makes that leads me to a thought with that, JT. Now that you pointed out, because I don't know. I think Hungary's alluded that there may not be much more Ardala or them remaining in the series, and it's kind of like maybe one of the weaknesses of the whole series when we look back is that they did not focus more on the Draconians and Ardala as the consistent enemy, because that would have made sense to have in an intergalactic Olympics maybe them as a competing, trying to influence the results between planets and stuff like that, instead of having one more new character brought in. We've had the gang of the Joker, of the Riddler, and everybody with that. We've had so many different bad guys. It's like there's not one common enemy across the galaxy, and it seems like a lot of the sci-fi, and y'all correct me wrong, I'm going to speculate a little bit here, but I know y'all the sci-fi experts, but it's like so much of sci-fi seems to be there's like the one main arch enemy, and then maybe there's one or two cup under it, but this series has been like every week there's a new threat, a new danger. I mean, like JQ homeless guy on the corner could be a threat, or the polar bear walking down the street is a threat. Just it varies from week to week. Gary Coleman was a threat. It just you see, and could this have been a case where using somebody like Ardala as the bad guy, give us more connection to something already established, not just one more new thing we got to throw in a universe.
Well, that depends really, because if you look at what Glenn A. Larson did before this, it was Battlestar Galactica, and there were many threats there, but a lot of them were the Cylons all the time. And you look at Doctor Who, and one of the reasons so many other threats were created was because people said, look, we don't want to wear out the Daleks. We don't want to have the Daleks every single time. And also there was copyright issues with the Daleks, so they had to create other ones. And you look at the reason the Riddler was created for Batman back in the early days, and that the Riddler was created because they said we can't use the Joker all the time. So I don't know how to actually answer your question, but I'm just adding the information to your question.
But just in terms of it's to look back. Go ahead, Daisy. Go ahead.
I was going to say they are trying to make the assumption that like this Olympics is for the whole galaxy or whatever they called it. Olympic athletes of the universe. So in the universe is a bit bigger than I think they think it is. But even if you were just trying to go for one galaxy, there would be, so many different factions and quote unquote bad guys who are the heads of these factions. So I think in some sense, they're trying to not just narrow it down to, oh yes, the whole galaxy, and there's only one set of bad guys.
Nicely said.
So it's, sometimes it's the bad guy of the week, but they're in a sci-fi sense that does make sense.
Okay.
Yes. Very good point, Daisy.
That's why you guys are here. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I mean, to back up what Daisy's saying, you look at every war that the United States has fought ever since the Revolutionary War. They're not all Russians. They're not all associated with Russians. There's a wide variety, which backs up what Daisy's saying. You look at the Brits. Well, I mean, my God, the amount of wars the Brits have fought. Then, so that completely underscores what Daisy is saying, and I think it is a beautiful point. Thank you, madam.
Exactly. So that's cool. That's interesting. I just was speculating in terms of what JT had mentioned, because if you did have Ardala or the Draconians, this could have been an episode where they could have been a silent, maybe an off-screen type of sponsor with it, especially if you'd have the Cold War aspect between Earth and them. It's kind of what I was thinking. But
it is a good point. Yes, yeah, it is.
Hi, Ashy. Good to see you.
Hello, Ashley.
Hi,
Hey.
Ashley.
How are you tonight? Good to see you. Good to see you. So Master says, depends on the villain, I would say, to Betty Hepburn. Skeletor appears. Everything Skeletor. But let me try to get back up here. Buddy said he liked the mix more. Same villain gets old after 4 or 5 episodes. Unless you plan on a new villain each season arc. And I do agree with that. I do understand it. I just, more my context, since we're talking Cold War, and the point that JT had raised, just because we got one more faction out there just thrown in that I don't know that we'll hear from again, and just wondered, I just kind of speculated maybe because we don't see that much of Ardala and the Draconians really, outside of a number of episodes.
Which is sad.
That's a good point. I agree that's sad, but we have to remember that when this series was being made, you could get canceled after one season. And they didn't even have a guarantee that they were going to get a second season by this point in the series. So, they had to plan their battles very carefully in regards to the studios and when they would get the cut.
Yeah. All right.
And now we wish shows could get canceled after one season. Or canceled
God, do we? Yes.
I laid it down hoping you picked it up. You picked it up and you you threw the curveball. That's beautiful.
Folks,
Steer right.
This is what makes this panel so great. They are sharp. And you guys in the chat are on fire.
Seasons that have 5 episodes are at least 4.5 episodes too long.
Exactly.
Oh dear, that hurts.
Now, Dadman, we talked about Wilma Deering on here being the seductress for the plot. I actually thought that was the lesser of the 2 seduction plots in this episode. In relation,
we're going to go there already, JT. We're going to go there.
Let's go for it. Go ahead, JT.
I don't know if you see the picture of the 2 of them sitting in that fighter sled.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have that, but
Um,
yeah, I got you. Yes.
When
Like he's right
she got
behind her,
into
cuddled up.
there
Yeah.
and they were sitting right there, I was like,
She was
oh,
flirting so
geez.
hard, dude. She's flirting so hard. And we know why
Mhm.
she's doing it. We understand to get Buck on her side. But, dude, go on. Oh.
It was so forward. I was like, this is probably every man's dream when they're a young man. But I just was like, wow. I can't believe they actually were doing it like this out in the open back in the 70s.
It was very confusing to someone who was between the ages of 8 and 12 because we thought, wait a second, she's in love with Jorax. Why is she flirting this way with Buck? And it's only when you get older and you learn the politics, you think, oh, she needs Buck to get to Jorax.
Yep.
You know?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. But very well acted, I must say. I thought that sled would come back into the landing bay all steamed up and, part of a uniform kind of tucked away somewhere it shouldn't be, kind of a thing.
Yeah, but did you look at the way when she was speaking?
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, they're in there in close quarters, and
Mhm.
she's talking to him, and oh, I hope you don't think I'm too forward. At no time does she turn her head
Mm.
back and look at him sideways at all.
Good
She kept her head forward and was looking the other way.
Mm.
And to me, that just signposted, yeah, she's saying this because she thinks that this is the best way to, you're a really nice guy, and I hope you don't think I'm too forward. And and right off the bat, I could see you were a good guy and all that. But her face and body language were not saying what the words were saying.
Yes. There was subtext going on hot and heavy there, Daisy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I can see as a young person, you'd miss that.
I was confused. I thought she was like into the. I thought it was a little confusing. I think she was a little too into the moment, like she was enjoying the attention, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it was more that she was happy that she was getting his attention.
Hey, dude, the two are not mutually exclusive. Those things happen in real life. Okay, so she could have been planning it when she started the flirtation as getting Buck on side, but I mean, she might have been honestly attracted to Buck and then just pulling back at the last minute. That happens with men and women. So.
All the time. Hey.
Yep.
We call them teasers. We call them teasers. Yeah. Hey. Anyway, let me see. Admiral Teague said that if you'd seen more of the Dallas show, might have made it. And by that, I mean her costume was less fulsome, not revealing enough for. Well, Teague.
I'll
be right back.
Wilma. We did need a Bikini Wilma episode. I will agree with that. The Masters are warning you, JT, about it getting slippery on the deck. Her expertise with the flight stick is amazeballs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But all that being said, I did think that this scene was very well moving to the if I can speak in a full English sentence here, I did feel like the way that the dialogue and the acting was done between those two characters while they were in the sled on the course, which folks, if you didn't see the episode, they basically take this little not a Viper space fighter. Yeah, it's bobsled racing out in space. And so they bobsled race, literally, they go out into orbit and they start doing this course. And she breaks down and kind of explains it, her situation. And then I think they become friends like right then and there. Right in that moment when Buck realizes maybe not friends, but
Buck feels for her and empathizes with her at that moment, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. And so does the audience.
Which is a lot different than when Riker empathizes with a female character. But that's a
Riker doesn't empathize with anybody
no,
but
he doesn't.
Riker.
I know. No, it's like his libido endangers the Enterprise all the time. Buck is thinking about, with Anyway, all right. Here, let's get back to the clothing and the training area a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody said they were here for gymnastics earlier. These are the outfits y'all were talking about earlier.
Yep.
So now these, like you said, these hazmat suit UBC people. Now look,
Yes.
the guy, the announcer guy looks like he's got body armor on.
They're not even
No.
hazmat suits, dude. They're pest control suits.
Pest
And
control.
they're beaming blow dryers at them.
Doot, like the little
Yeah.
boxing doot doot with the little beam of light.
No,
Oh, God,
those were cheap plastic flower pots that you could buy at
Yes.
Kmart back then.
Dude,
Yeah,
you know what?
And traffic cones.
You know what that reminds me? Y'all's comments remind me of Godzilla -1 about how they got the guys out there measuring all the radiation. They're in
Yeah.
suits, but they got no mask or anything on their head or gloves. It's just they're out there with, hey, why, man? Like that cape's apron's going to protect you. But yeah, you can get a little bit. You get the old 70s leotards for gymnastics. Not so much the lycra. I'll see if I can find a picture. We can talk about the fashion. So
And by the way, it's a wooden floor on that boxing ring. I thought it was established beforehand. The previous episodes, they weren't using organic materials like this in this way. But that's all right. That's
it's
fine.
a Faywood. It's Faywood.
Faywood.
Yeah, it's vinyl. It was
Oh.
actually vinyl. Mhm.
Yeah.
Which you
Spin
don't
them
use that in a
around, play
boxing
a
ring
song.
anyway. So where they dug this thing up, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of dug up, Masters. I
So can
I don't even know how to respond to that one. I don't even think
Anyway.
even JT's speechless with that one, Masters.
But
Can
how does
can-
JT and Daisy feel about the fact that this was foreseeing some things of today where we're not seeing a lot of people going out to live events anymore after certain events of the past 4 years, and they've basically got a laugh track for the Olympics, the intergalactic Olympics. There's like no, they say okay, this sound is being transmitted from all the people watching from home. That's what we're going through today.
and
And
I
I thought-
and I said, oh, so they did this 30 years later on Star Trek Voyager with Sun Katsi and The Rock
Yeah.
fighting
Yeah.
Jerry Ryan. Yeah.
Well, and I said, okay, so theoretically, everyone's watching it at home, and it's
Mhm.
sampling all these voices from all over the universe. It would sound like white noise. You would
Mhm.
not hear individual cheering.
Mhm.
There would be no home field, home team advantage type thing
Right.
because you wouldn't be able to hear. It seemed rather silly. But yeah, people don't go to games as much now and laugh tracks and stuff. But I was also trying to envision how you would make that work
Mm.
from an audio perspective.
Well,
Mm.
2020, 2021, they were piping in what fake
Mhm.
audience noises and kind of doing the Madden football or FIFA soccer audience like superimposition over the empty stands.
Yes.
Yeah, and they
So
raised the
Mhm.
cheering sounds for whichever was the home team. They'd
Mhm.
make the sound louder as if the crowd were louder. That didn't go over very well with the athletes or those of us not watching it on TV.
Right.
True.
Right. So, folks, just so you kind of get an idea, this Olympics was filmed in what I can only surmise as some kind of a junior college indoor gymnasium
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
And so they had maybe 4 or 5 like 2-person event areas. I don't know,
Mhm.
Dadman, if you have a good shot of it, but
I'll keep
Um,
looking.
it's
Because
it's
you did-
very, very minimal. And so they're taking things like boxing or wrestling where you'd be on a mat or something like that, and they would
Mhm.
tweak it away to make it look humorous.
Mm.
Not like the arm bone, but with
You
some
did-
levity to it.
You did tease
Um,
us the other night about something about the Olympics, because I remember you were like, "Oh, you're going to love the Olympics," and This is what we got.
Oh, the
Yeah.
tiny microphone. Oh, dude, the tiny microphone. That is just killing me. There is no way a microphone with a capsule that small has a pickup like in this scene. That just drives me crazy as a mic nerd. Ugh. But, you know, JT, Daisy, please go on from here.
There's no filter on that either.
No.
No filter.
Oh.
Nope.
Anyway, so folks, most of these events are supposed to be rip-offs of track and field or boxing, wrestling, a lot of the classical Greek events.
Mhm.
However, instead of actually showing the conflict, there's I'll use two examples from the scenes. One is boxing, and the other is appears to be a martial art of
Give
some
me one
sort.
second. I think I'm coming up with an image.
Oh,
It's
the
a big image,
telekinetic
but you-
judo. The
but you might
Yeah,
telekinetic
it was
judo.
almost like
but JT,
kickboxing
you can get it.
judo. Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of actually making physical contact, because they might have to hire like athlete actor
Real
talent,
stunt people. Yeah.
instead they wear these gloves and they hold on to these weird devices. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can see
And-
way back in the distance here. Up here, they got the red cups, like Hungry was saying, the Devo helmets. You know,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
and there's
and-
there's the stupid racetrack. They
There's the
go into
racetrack.
these weird. No.
and there's the judo mat in the back.
And so they do like this judo fight where one guy does like it looks like you're playing a video game and you're just smashing the buttons, and he
Right.
does this weird like poke you, punch you, kick you action
Yeah.
for about 4 seconds.
And
And
they
then
just
there's a
stand there.
delay, and then the other person just reacts like you would at a kid. As kids fake fighting, you know,
Right.
where
It's
you
like
like
soccer.
fly way across the room and you're like,
Yeah.
okay. And the
Well-
same thing with boxing. They
Well-
like punch and then there's a delay and then they pretend like they're hit. It really made me laugh.
Well, the judo
Yeah.
was really worse because they just stand there looking at each other and letting the other guy do something, and then they just flop. You know, it's not like they're trying to evade or avoid. At least the boxing, they were duking and jiving a little bit, trying to get out of the way. But the judo, they're just like, just stand here.
They were like watching. Okay, so one of them looked like he was conducting an orchestra with these orange cones on his hands, and he'd do all this hand waving, point at the person, and then there'd be this delay, and then the other person, a red light would appear around the person, and then they'd go flying like, oh yes, the other person who did all that hand gesture thing had actually thrown them. It was just laughable is an understatement.
That's
And
why it's
then-
an That's why it's an MST3K beautiful episode, Daisy. This is the kind of thing that the riff guys make fun of, and that's why it's good for me. It's so bad, it's good.
Look
know?
at these lines down here. These lines coming down, you can barely see them, but the lines that are coming down top right to left, and they were going down. They were going backwards down.
Backwards down those lines.
Backwards down. Yeah.
I looked at that.
They were tightrope sliding or
Yes.
something.
Competitive, like who can slide backwards the fastest. I looked at
Competitive
that and I
circus.
said, good Lord, what did the insurance rates cost for this event? Because I was just thinking these extras are going to fall and break their neck.
Oh yes,
the
it was
way
in
that-
my it was in my notes, JT, where I said, okay, let's just get sci-fi for a moment. Doesn't this mean unless somebody accidentally falls off, the person with the most mass is always going to win that event? Always. The heavier person is always going to slide down that tightrope faster than anyone else unless they're clumsy and they fall off or they got worse shoes. And it's just, for anyone who's been to a circus, you sit there and think, no, this doesn't work for this one. This one does
Right.
not
That
work
would-
at all.
According to Tiga, it'd be Gil Gerard now, but hey.
Oh, Tegas,
Yeah.
no.
And then
Oh,
Buddy
Teague,
recognizes it from the
What
cruise
the
ship.
hell did you put in the private chat? Oh, sorry, that's JT. Oh my God.
Oh, I
That
was
is
trying
the
to put
biggest
that's
links.
link I've ever
picture.
seen.
Yeah, I was trying to put
I
links
don't-
so
I don't even
Dadman
see a
could.
link there. I don't even see a link
The
there. I
first
see,
one. The first one.
oh,
Yeah, the second
it's
one
a
didn't
link.
work.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah, that's the sliding down the
yeah, the
other
first
thing
one
is
there
if
that
you-
I linked in there,
There we
Dadman,
are.
is the sliding down one so people can see. That just looked terribly dangerous. And I was like,
Yes.
please, hopefully no one got hurt doing this because it's a stupid looking.
And it's
Again,
not a
they don't have
sport.
any mats. There are no mats underneath it.
Yes.
If
Nope.
these people fall off of this, they're going to hit the floor.
And look
Mhm.
at the guy
Mhm.
at the bottom. He's already so far ahead because of his
Mhm.
weight and density. Unless he falls down through clumsiness, there's no way he can lose.
Or
Because of
you
the
could
physics.
grease up your shoes and overcome the friction coefficient of the rope into your shoe sole and just go lickety split.
Oh, you
50
think the
miles an
chick
hour
at
by
the
time
top?
get
You
to the
think
bottom.
the chick at the top? She could put pig grease on her feet. That ain't gonna help her. Look how tiny she
Oh,
is.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She ain't never gonna win this. She's
Now,
no.
Dadman, the other link was
Okay.
the one of the joke that Daisy made when she entered in the chat this evening. And it also brings up
Well,
style.
But I'm getting
Imposed.
redirected to another
What-
site to Instagram.
What
I
did
can't get.
Oh,
I
you
can't
can't
get
show
Insta-
that one?
I can't get to Instagram on my computer, but because it's taking me to Instagram.
Oh, it
it-
loaded for me. It took a second, but it loaded.
No, I'll try it again, but it linked. But if you can snap the image, if you can clip it or something, and bring it up, and I'll share it to screen.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do the
Was
present,
it the lack of fashion joke?
Uh,
No. It was the workout one here.
Yeah.
So
But
you
Yeah,
can't
'cause
do
if
you can't
if
you
you
can't do
open the screen,
Instagram at all. Then can
not
you?
not on my computer. I on my phone.
Okay.
But not on
Okay.
my
Here
computer.
I'm about ready to share it out. Here I've got it
Okay.
snipped, and here we
Well, we're
go.
looking
Doing
at
this on the
that, so-
fly.
Oh, that's right. You hacked the private chat. Tigga's that good,
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
nice.
If the games have been to death, Doug more like Death Race 2000. If I do this
The
now, it'd be a mix
original.
of American Gladiators and roller games. Exactly.
The
There's
original.
only-
The
Yeah.
there's only
original
one
Death Race.
2000, and that's what that was the first movie I seen boobies in. Now that I
Really?
remember. Yes, it was on a local channel, and they left it unedited. So
I'd say
Nice.
If you guys have not seen the original,
Oh
Yeah,
no! Oh
the
no! Not this one.
the original roller games, the original one. If
Yes,
you have
yes,
not
yes.
seen that movie, you should go see that movie.
Agreed. Agreed.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
this I was going. That would be the East German swim team.
Nice.
But they did not hire somebody who actually knew how to do Olympic lifting.
Oh no, they.
I
didn't.
have terrible form if I would attempt it now, but I know that this is not correct whatsoever
No.
if you're trying
No.
to do this type of a lift.
So
No.
that's what I was
And
joking
folks-
about doing that.
They were really struggling to act strained as
Yeah, they
especially this.
Yeah,
So
This-
the
this-
thing to remember in this episode, this is all hilarious,
Mm.
cringeworthy.
Yes.
It's not the important part of the episode. Hungry
No.
does not love this episode just for this, even though it's
No.
MST,
yes.
MSTK 3000, right?
Yes.
Or MST 3000. There is a message and a great story behind it
Yes.
with this all thrown
Wow.
into it.
you're
So-
just afraid of a strong woman.
No, hey, I mean,
Oh,
if we're gonna if we're gonna
terrified,
talk about
Teague,
looks and
terrified.
things, if we're gonna talk about looks and things, then Daisy will get this reference because we're of an age, as I always say. You look at Jorex, okay? You look at Jorex. Now, is he actually supposed to be like Iggy Pop from 1978 or one of the Ramones with that haircut and that face? I mean, this.
Wow.
I got you, Daisy. You know what I mean, though. He
I
looks
need a
like
moment.
he does does look like a combination of 78 Iggy Pop and Ramones, though. He really does. And he's got that little sulky voice, which is kind of like the Ramones, you know? He's just like, he just keeps talking like this.
Now
when
you're
he's
talking about Stallone, not Ramon. But anyway, go ahead.
No, when he's talking to Buck, he's like, you know, get away from my woman. I know what you're doing. I saw you from across the field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, I think it. You know what? I'm sorry. Okay, and she was a better actor than him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
the
God,
one
yes.
dude
it
was
really
like, yeah.
showed when he tried to come over and that's my woman and you.
Ah!
I'm like, I was laughing. I'm thinking, dude, you need to act. You know, this is bad.
So
And she was
Well-
just acting circles around him.
Right.
yeah.
We're just having so much fun just on the Olympic part of this. Forget the main plot, which is
You
basically
forget the main
folks,
plot.
they
So-
wanted to affect. They did affect, and then ultimate bad guy boo boomed himself because they did.
So folks,
They did get away.
Well,
But, yeah.
okay.
the
so
real
on
the
that-
real plot summary on this, you know, it's a love
Yeah.
story between two Olympic competitors, and
Yes.
they cannot be together because he is basically indentured to the satrap, and he has something in his body that's basically the kill switch. If he does one thing they don't like, boom. And so he has a minder that makes sure that, you know, he doesn't spend time around her, that he's not
Yes.
talking to anybody he shouldn't. So, you know, it's Buck and Wilma's job to try to get them amnesty to Earth, to New
Yes.
Chicago. And New Earth is dedicated to doing it, but they need Buck's help. So she
but
has to be
also-
resourceful.
Nice
Go
summary,
ahead.
JT. Yeah.
No, but also bear in mind, before they bring up the kill switch, they bring up the fact that there's a pain mechanism to just keep him in line. That's early
Yes.
on in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
But see,
Yes.
and this is where all the parallels to the U.S. Russia boycotts, Cold War, and all that really come through, because that's what they said. That, I mean, it was well known and documented how, you know, they were being followed. They could not talk to just people randomly. You know, it was about control to what they're exposed to. We still see that in our world today. I will not mention
Is that
where,
both
but you know,
teams?
no,
Deadman?
the communist countries were always following their people
okay.
around.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
other
But it was
thing-
during that time period. Yeah, Daisy.
At the end, when the minder had messed up,
Mhm.
and the head dude said, "You know what you have to do,"
Oh, yeah.
and then he blows himself up. There were back then. We, of course, in the West wouldn't be able to completely make sure that it happened or didn't. But there were rumors that coaches, when their athletes did not perform, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't as well done, but I think that was one more, yeah, this is what we're trying to show.
Is
Yeah.
it possibly that they could not go that far, though? Because that would have probably been putting it on a different level. We know the rumors, because if you were
Yeah.
alive, you knew that
Yes.
thing. When they
Mhm.
did not win, if they did not, even gold sometimes, I mean, that's how
Yeah,
bad the pressure was on those athletes, you know.
correct.
But that-
you know,
that's
So I
really
think
also-
a
that
lot of bad things.
this is how they could do it in a TV show
Yes.
in the late 70s, early 80s without making it
Mhm.
blatant.
Right. Right.
Well, I mean,
kind of
this
going
is
around the
also, I mean, we're talking about, like Dadman was just saying, going around the fringe of the language. And when we're going back to the sled scene where Laura is there with Buck, I mean, at one point, even though this is what we would now call a PG-13 or PG show, she says, just feel your way through it. When Buck says, I haven't done this before. I mean, okay, hold on. Let's back off a little bit. And then coming up as well where you will get your speed. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's why I was saying when it came back, I thought there would be, you know, cleanup on aisle 5 or something. You know, it.
And ain't butter on your popcorn, bro. Oh dear God.
Speaking of
I mean-
popcorn, I'm getting popcorn tomorrow watching Godzilla. So go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then we have
but-
Carl, the assistant to Alaric, who is the assistant to the satrap. And one thing I love about this guy is he's been a character actor forever. And he's got a face like a brisket that was cooked for 19 hours at 300 degrees.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can get that because it was like very distinctive face, I will say. So
Very, very.
Nicholas Coster.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
That's who it is.
So
But,
we
you
can try to wrap this. I mean, so we can try to wrap this up and move on to the next one. Any other
Yeah.
thoughts
Mhm.
about the plot itself, the action, the music, the
You know,
the fight actions? Because we got more judo kicks today.
Dadman, there was a lot of hokey things with the Olympiad, right? But they could have had this been done in a number of different situations, and it would have been okay. I really enjoyed this episode's attention to
Mm.
empathy towards
Yes.
the characters that were the guests on the show, and
Mhm.
getting the
Mhm.
motivations for all the characters correct,
Mm-hmm.
and just the way that they were able to move from one thing to the other. If I had to say the actual weakest part of this episode was the Wilma scenes, because I
Really?
thought they were in there a little too much
Mm.
just to move the plot, and it was written very up and down. You already knew what was going to happen. Like she could have come around a corner and told Buck what happened, and it wouldn't have been any less of a thing. I just didn't think there was enough pizzazz in those sections. But in terms of believing the motivations and having mystery and attraction and intrigue all play together, I thought it was very, very well done.
Cool.
So once you get past the weird costumes and the hilarious feats of strength and
Mhm.
endurance, quote unquote,
Right.
yeah.
Here was a
Yes.
picture, I think, of Carl here. I mean, it's the actor that played Carl
Mhm.
Hungry.
He just Mike
He
is
muted.
muted.
He muted. Go ahead, Daisy.
No, I don't think it was Carl. I think it was the gentleman who played Alaric. Whose
Well, I
name
thought he
is
said Carl. I got the two confused. I thought he had said Carl. So
Oh, I thought he meant Alaric, but he
we'll
could have
figure
meant
out
Carl.
what he. Okay. Well, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
I
Did you have
also-
something else?
I also enjoyed if you if you could get past all of the craziness that was this is an Olympiad, and then some of the other part of they were in the sled together, so she's practicing her run in the sled, and I'm going, okay, I get it. The sled is out in space and it's supposed to mimic being a bobsled going down an ice run.
Mm.
So they have to mark out a course that you must follow.
Mm.
And the problem with that was the visual on the screen was this flat blue smoke coming upwards and these blue dots below it, which is just above and below you. Whereas when you saw the sled going, quote unquote, out of bounds, it would hit things to the left and the right. And I'm going,
Yes.
but visually, you're not showing me left and right. You're showing me up and down and not left and right. And then the sound that the out of bounds would make sounded like a video game when you go out of bounds. It makes that funny little sound they used. So,
Hungry. Were you
but-
talking? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Daisy.
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I answered in the private chat.
Okay.
Let Daisy go ahead.
Oh, but I agree with JT. Once you got past, it sounds like we're ragging on it, and parts of it were hysterical. But
Yes.
the actual plot part, and yes, there was a plot.
Yes.
It
Mhm.
was very topical, especially if you watched Olympics during
Mhm.
the 70s and
Yes.
into the 80s and saw all the politics that were going on and how different the Western nations were from the East Bloc and Soviet Union and even communists like China and stuff, and how they treated those athletes and how that was presented. And this defection plot was really very interesting. And other than the fact that the boyfriend couldn't act, it was still very interesting. And
Yeah.
I did like this episode.
Well, and Masters had talked about the real life stuff about the one game in Soccer World Cup '76, West Germany played the other side in the West. It was crazy controlling agents everywhere because he lived back there and then, and
Mhm.
so, and then even said
Yeah.
some athletes were afraid to come back home, even as they failed to win titles. So
Yep.
it's just
Yes.
those type of things. So
And when Daisy and I were watching television as children, despite the difference in countries, the thing is, you would see things on the news that your parents were watching because you had to watch television with your parents, and we would see these things on the news.
yeah,
Or
we
if
were
the
the
parents had
remote controls too.
Precisely. And if they were listening on the radio, we'd also be listening
Mhm.
on the radio. So we would hear about these things, and we would hear that somebody was trying to defect, and then later on you'd find out a story about they were in love with somebody else. And it didn't happen that often, but it happened enough that we could remember and bear that in mind with this episode. So I mean, the thing that's wonderful about Glenn A. Larson, who created this and Battlestar Galactica and other shows, is he will rip things off, but he will pay attention to things that were going on at the time. And that's something I appreciate about this episode. With the following episode, even more so, but with this
Well, we
episode,
will.
yes.
And we'll get to it. So we're going to try to put a bow on this one, but this was him right here.
When he
That
was
played
good
Carl.
looking. That was before this episode, but yes, I
Okay,
mean,
but that's the best image I could find right now. They didn't have any from this episode that I could find quickly. But no, I know it said very distinctive face,
and
definitely
voice.
so.
He's a good actor. He just got this
Mhm.
role, and I mean, I don't blame him for that. Like I said, this is a great MST3K episode, but it has a lot of things to offer where you're not laughing at it, you're laughing with it, and you're feeling
Right.
sorry for the people who are engaged in what's going on at the time in the plot.
All right, so let's do it. JT, any other thoughts? Because I know this one made a lot to you with the way you were glowing recommended about the Olympics and stuff. But is there anything else you had to say about this episode?
No, I think we ended it rather nicely. Outside
Okay.
of my, I guess my non-rating rating.
Okay. Well, Daisy,
would-
what about you?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is they must not have had the rights to the Olympic song because that wasn't the music they played. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, I think we've wrapped it up.
Oh, one other thing that they had in here, we talked about Nicholas Coster playing Alaric in here, but and I talked about Thomas Hollywood Henderson, the cowboy linebacker at the time. Elgin Baylor, the former NBA star, was in this. I think he might have been the guy that put his foot down about the fast feet or something like that. So that was another one in this one that had a famous person that makes an appearance in the series. So, Hungry Boy, anything else on your notes on this one before we review, give it a grade, and get out and move on to the next one?
I enjoy it for what it is, and we need to get on to the next one for the sake of Daisy's time.
All right. Well, folks, so with that, JT, what grade do you give this, or on whatever scale you give it on?
I give it 9 fake punch judo electric game kicks out of 10.
Cute.
All right, that's cool.
Would recommend if people were asking, should I watch this? Heck yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
anything after the Gary Coleman retrospective season?
Oh.
Yes. But anyway, that's a punishment one. Okay,
You
Daisy,
made me think about that again.
I know. Sorry about that. Daisy, what did you think on your school grade letter scale?
I would definitely give it a B+, A-, and I would also recommend.
All right.
Yay.
All right, Hungry. How about you?
A flat B, not minus, not plus, flat B.
Okay. I'm going to move up I'm going to use 5 popcorn buckets instead of 4 because I get hungry and I love my popcorn these days. And I'm excited and I can balance out, score a little bit better. I'm going to say a 4. I'm going to put it in the B range. It's funny looking at it. I was probably not as pleased as y'all were. We did have a couple of explosions, but I don't know.
Wait, the sports didn't sway you? You didn't get any pew?
There were explosions just in the living pods.
Oh no!
No, they
ATO!
didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't allow that. They had to go sleep in their own places. Remember, that's how they did it. So in the 70s and all that. It's not like the Olympic villages of today. But yeah, it was a good episode. Definitely not the worst. And I may not have liked it as much as you guys, but yeah, it was definitely good. Had a good plot. Had a good thing. Yeah, the acting in that one spot was kind of hard, but it's overall not a bad episode. All right. Well, let's move on to our second episode. Episode 20, A Dream of Jennifer, directed by David G. Finney, written by Alan Brennert, released February 14th, 1980, episode 53423.
Starring Mary Warrenov, who was a cult film goddess, going back to Andy Warhol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Mary Warrenov, dude. She was in Scenes of a Class Struggle from Beverly Hills. She was in TerraVision. She was in the original Death Race 2000 from 1975. She's been in everything. She's been in over 1,000 movies. No kidding.
Well, listen, I'm looking down the list, and boy, the cameos still continue. But A Dream of Jennifer was one where Buck sees a young woman who looks identical to his girlfriend Jennifer, who he left behind when he was sent out on a space mission in the 20th century. The girl, whose name is Layla Markison, catches a flight to, quote, the city on the sea, what was once New Orleans, and Buck follows her there. However, Layla was molecularly altered to appear as Jennifer and sent to lure Buck into a trap set by aliens known as the Coven. The Coven want Buck to attack a freighter that's transporting weapons to the colony on Vega 5, with whom they are at war. Buck refuses, but the alien leader, Reeve, threatens to kill Layla if he does not comply. What is significant a note in this episode is a connection to Star Trek is drawn by the PA call for Captain Christopher Pike. Report to the Veterans Affairs Office. So, hey.
And Norin Rad, which is the original name of the Silver Surfer. Yes.
Well, guess
okay, so there was another one. Okay.
Yeah. But even better, there's another ripoff. There's another Glenn Larson ripoff. Guest stars included. When I first saw this, I'm like, what happened to Battlestar Galactica? Anne Lockhart played the role of Layla Markison. Yes, if you don't know, she became the replacement for Jane Seymour as the love interest in Battlestar Galactica. That happened, but But hey, she was in this. Paul Kosler was Commander Reeve. Gino Conforti as Sylvie. Mary Warrenov as Nola. I think that's the red-faced lady, right?
Yes.
Jesse Lawrence Ferguson as Lieutenant Rekoff. Cameron Young as Toby Kaplan. Shawn Michaels as Supervisor. Love that. Marcia Merkin got the role as Clerk, and Mitchell Evans as the Mime. But here, what is unique, you may not have seen it, and it was hard to see, but a young Dennis Haysbert appeared in this as an airport security guard. You know, the president from 24, you're good hands with Allstate. That voice.
Right.
Or Major League. You remember? Serrano? They couldn't hit a curveball?
Nope.
Sorry.
No.
It's been way too long for me to remember anything from that movie.
Oh man. How can you forget the bucket of KFC that Tom Berenger brought for the guy to sacrifice to Jobu?
I mean, I could say, how could you not think that The Wrath of Khan was a great movie? But we're gonna get squirrely, and
I know. We'll save that for later. We'll do that later when we talk shrimp. But Daisy Blossom, we may have to watch Major League 1 month.
Prawns, talk prawns, not shrimp.
Okay, all right. Master. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this. Masters. Masters put it as a 7 of 9 earlier.
Yay!
Okay,
that's
sorry
a good
about
joke.
that.
That's a good joke. I like that.
Yeah, 7 of 9.
Master said that the Georgia murder was on speed. Daisy is right. John Williams wrote the Olympic fanfare and the theme for 1984 Olympics. Not sure what they used before that. Oh, I got it now. One. Okay. No. All I know is the wild world of spurts and the agony of defeat and the ski jump guy going off the side. Hey, Masters, you rest.
Yes,
okay?
Yes,
lay down,
rest.
Listen to us, and we will help you drift into tonight's stream. Okay? You get some rest tonight. Listen to our smooth, sultry voices. Get some rest. And I tell you what, if we do something later, I'll let you know, and if we'll put you to sleep then. Like I said, I do not mind putting people to sleep late at night. I think that's good.
Smooth
But
and
yes.
sultry.
Oh, there you go, Hungry Boy. Anne was Lieutenant Sheba, daughter of Commander Kane of the Battlestar Pegasus. Yeah. All right. He's only Serrano. I thought he was Serrano in the second one. Anyway, but hey, it's all good. It's still Pedro Serrano. But this episode, it was like Mardi Gras with all the, you talk about costumes. We had Mardi Gras like, we had the Chicago Old Earth Marketplace, we had things like that we saw in there. As it says, the girl goes to trap him, gets him, he chases her down, finds her, and then she reveals that aliens got into his apartment, did the little stuff to her face to make her look like an old girlfriend of his, and then was trying to extort his help, and ultimately they solved it, blew it. I'll let you guys talk more about this episode, because to me this one was a complete mess and a train wreck.
Oh dear God, no! I can't believe this. We are going to have a big disagreement here.
All right, let's fight. Let's go. All right, but Daisy Blossom, I'll let you start off and see what did your thoughts on this episode?
Well, I really did. I enjoyed that we did the market kind of thing. He was trying to build a hot tub versus a zero G sonic shower. I can't speak. I liked that we were outside and we saw people romping around. I will say that it did look like they were on the back set of Universal Hollywood. When
who's to say they weren't?
When they might have been, and those might have just been the actual, people that were at the park that day. But it was nice to be out in something other than a set that's obviously a set. I mean, this was a set too, but you know what I mean.
Hey, but we had a great desert scene when when they escaped.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Lee Curtis.
And
Dadman, that's been like 10 episodes now, and Daisy's right. You get kind of tired of windowless rooms.
Yeah.
Week after
we're
week.
walking down hallways and we're watching little ropes on the ground with lights in them, and I'm like, look, outside, plants, green, I'm happy.
Twiggy
and
talks
real
to
sunlight.
the robot roadhog. It's like, because the hallways are so narrow.
And real sunlight, Daisy. Real sunlight on the actors and actresses' faces and reflecting. It's just, it made keep going, but that was a beautiful opening. Yes.
So I did really enjoy that. I mean, it was silly, but that's okay. And it did look like they'd gotten enough extras or hauled actual park goers and had them dress up like in Lycra and said, walk around and look like you're shopping, because that's what you're doing anyway. Yes. So it looked like a busy market, and I did appreciate that. When they went to New Orleans, I've never been to and I was told you say it more like Norlands rather than New Orleans.
That's apparently a myth, according to Clobby, who is a New Orleans person.
Oh, okay.
But, yes.
So I probably saying it wrong anyway. But
no, you're saying it right, according to Clobby, and he grew up there. So that's
okay.
fine.
Because the common thing that people keep is Nolans, and it's not really that. It just,
he hates that. He hates that.
Yeah. So, so I've not been to Mardi Gras, so I can't really speak to it. I didn't see any bead throwing, and I think that's probably a thing, but maybe not in the 25th century.
I was sad about the absence of that.
There was, and they didn't have the color scheme, which is sort of the purples and the greens and the golds. They didn't do enough of that. And the music to me didn't seem, my father liked Dixieland jazz, and it didn't quite seem like Dixieland jazz, and it wasn't regular jazz either. It wasn't disco, so at least they didn't do that, but the music didn't seem right to me. The costumes look cool. I liked that they were going to put the masks on. I did think the whole setup and payoff for this Silby guy who was selling the masks, I thought he'd come back and do something in the episode because he sat down to talk with Buck. Yeah, this was going on, and I'm like,
I'm paying attention.
You took that from my Tweety. You took that from my Tweety, Dad, man. You know you did.
I did. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I think this lady was in the wrong episode. She was meant to be in the other episode we discussed.
Yeah, I agree with that. But look at the boots. I mean, look at the boots she's wearing for this gymnastic stuff. Now, Daisy, no, that's not right.
It's the only picture that I could find related to that would support the color, the greens, orange, and purples and stuff. Yes. But of course, it is what it
still didn't. It didn't seem right to me. But you can write that off as it's going to change in 500 years. But I really did think they'd pay off the Silby guy who was kind of like, you need to forget the past, kill it if you have to. Sorry.
Only you can get away with saying that on my channel, Daisy. Only you can.
Well, he was. I mean, to back up Daisy, he was kind of like a slightly Peter Lorre character from Casablanca or Maltese Falcon. But it like you're saying, there's a setup that doesn't pay off. But at least for the rest of the episode, the payoffs are there. At least for the rest.
Yeah, the payoff is more what he said about the, don't live in the past, because that's what Buck is doing. He's chasing someone who in his brain he knows cannot be there. Jennifer from 500 years ago can't be there.
Nope.
But his heart is going with the past, and he misses her, and he was going to give up being an astronaut after this mission, and of course got sent 500 years in the future. And so he was setting that up, but I was expecting more of a payoff for the character, and there wasn't one. We did go back to Sad Buck. I mean, there were parts when you really went, it would be very difficult. I mean, it's all well and good to wake up 500 years from now and see how the world has changed, but everyone and everything you've ever known is gone.
Yeah.
So,
JT, what your initial thoughts with this one?
Oh boy, my initial thoughts on this. I wanted to metaphorically punch that terrible musician in the face. Who was that actor? I feel like they brought him in because he was noteworthy at the time of this episode.
I did not look him up. I have to admit, I saw him a lot in the 70s on television shows as a kid, but I had a lot more notes to write than I could afford to him.
I hated the routine. I did not like the way he acted. I absolutely could not stand him.
Wow!
That it made it
He's
stick out.
He's not even the aliens. He's not even a main character. That's interesting.
Right. I did notice the reference to Captain Christopher Pike to the Veterans Affairs office while they were at the spaceport. I thought that was fun.
And Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer, the original name is Silver Surfer. So they're doing fan service decades before the term fan service was created. And that's nice. That's nice.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I thought Jennifer Lawrence invented the concept of fan service. But, anyway,
only female fan service.
Otherwise, initial impressions. I was wondering, the red people, for lack of a better name,
the Covens.
Yes. Thank you. I kind of worried. I was concerned for the actors that red paint would be harmful to them. I know it sounds
a solid paint job though. That I will say that was a very solid paint job they had.
But you looked at it and I'm like, that can't be good for you.
No.
The rest of their costume was that unremarkable. That's the one thing I thought when I looked at them.
Did you not notice that they had the square shoulders before the new Romulans, though, dude?
See, I was kind of like, are they Klingons? What are they?
Yeah, I know.
What is the cheap version of a Star Trek species are they trying to do here? And that, if you're going to do that, you might as well just make them generic alien of the week, where they're obviously humans and no one cares anyway.
Yeah.
I also, the sci-fi guy in me, the sci-fi nerd, they said they did molecular alteration.
Yeah.
Surgical molecular alteration. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so you're altering molecules?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Aren't
Right.
we doing that? Okay. I thought that was a cheesy, nonsensical term. And I don't know if I want to say everything that I thought going into the end of the episode.
No, please do.
Okay. So the reason why I side with Dadman on a lot of this, and I did not like this episode, was some things. How convincing are they going to make this woman off of a picture? That they took a picture of a picture by sneaking into Buck's quarters. And then they even got the voice right. Come on.
Yeah.
That information is not located in a 1970s photograph.
80s photograph.
80s. Still.
Yeah,
in today's photographs, it's not captured. And then Buck went along with it. He went along with it head first, and all along, this guy is so smart that he can sniff deception from a mile away. But this time he just chooses to fall into it. And yeah, there's lookalikes, and then there's look and sound exactly alike. And when you sound and look exactly alike, maybe warning bells start going off that maybe this is a trap. And, the fact that didn't happen really seemed out of character for Buck. And so that's when the episode fully lost me. At the end, I was furious with this character that was supposed to be his deceased girlfriend, wife, whatever. Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
Okay.
Because
JT,
they basically could have liquidated the villain, and the two of them could have gotten away. And if she actually loved him, if she actually wanted to be with him, she sure didn't have the cojones to go along with it.
Wow.
I really thought she should have said, screw it to the main villain, and he would have laughed, ha 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 ha, I'm going to end you. And then Buck would have saved her one final time.
I'm about to pile in on with you.
Tell him. Why doesn't she just straight up tell him, no, I'm his prisoner. If I go with you, we both are deleted. She could have just said that.
I understand what you're saying, but I want to hear what Dadman has to say.
Hold on, Hungry. Are you done for now, JT?
Yeah. You
because
all
I'll
know
tell you what.
where
One of the things that pissed me off of this episode the most is, damn it, I want my pew pew and stuff. It had pew pew with little teeny guns, but who the hell is terminated by a blast nowadays? They show the bad guys on the guns.
Show the tiny gun. Show the tiny gun.
I gotta find that damn thing. I'll find it in a second. But damn it, I mean, the red guys get just passed out. Everybody gets stunned except for her. She jumps in the way and takes a fatal shot. What the hell? Are guns fatal or not in this episode? In this universe, I thought everybody. I mean, Buck took one of their guns earlier and dazed one of them out in the marketplace thing. They got up and walked off, but she magically is gone. Can somebody tell me what the hell a gun does in this universe?
Gone in the cheesiest Hollywood way, where they get to do 3 minutes of staring into each other's eyes and
Buck. I love you, Buck. I'm sorry I didn't say it. I gotta do this. Gil Jordan acting emotional. I love you.
Oh, dude. Oh.
It's just like, can somebody make a gun consistently? That's all I'm asking.
You
I
can't
wanted
make
her to
lightsabers
say-
90% of the time they
consistent.
get up and walk away. I did like the one where somebody got disintegrated. That's cool. Leaves no doubt. Kind of like aliens. Nuclear from orbit.
The
Just to
other
be sure.
thing, the Coven woman was like, "Oh, I don't know why you like her. She's so weak. You
I've
should
got so
go
many
for a
comments about
real
that.
strong
All right.
woman."
Well,
And
let's-
that's when I thought, okay, these are, sunburned Klingons or something. Because
Oh,
I was looking for the boob
I
window
love Daisy's
uniform,
laugh.
like from TNG, and we didn't get it.
how dare you?
Buddy
How dare
Hepburn!
you?
Buddy Hepburn! Oh my gosh. Dude, this kid. Wow.
Hmm.
Oh my God, buddy. You got me dying tonight.
All
right.
this distraction with pew-pews and Klingons. You
So
guys
now,
are killing
JT,
me.
Daisy, let's turn over to Hungry, who loves
Yeah, we got to hear it.
Hungry, you heard our Daisy.
We got to hear it. Thank you very much.
We heard JT's objections. Go ahead with your notes. You got four.
Well, no. I got a lot of notes on this. This is one of my top 5 episodes. Sorry, JT. This is one of my top 5. Seriously. So no,
It's
Daisy
loud.
has
It's loud.
folks. That's why
Daisy-
I say right here. This is why I say right here, folks. Bring your friends and all, even if you don't know much the show. A lot of the fun is we have the debate here. We are not an echo chamber. We encourage different opinions. You in the chat have different thoughts. Please throw them in there and want it. This is what makes this show fun and all, is having people that are passionate, that love stuff, and we can have fun laughing, because I'm just dying listening to Hungry huffing, breathing every time JT and I say something. And Daisy said that.
but
What?
Daisy's got limited time, so I want to hear what Daisy has to say about it first before I go on. Okay.
Well, Daisy, did you have any complaints?
Oh God.
Yeah, you made fun of my giggle.
No, it was not fun. That was all due respect and all, my friend. I am so sorry that you made. I meant, listen. Okay, I'm sorry. I got you. Good day, old chap. You don't want me to do a British accent, do you?
Oh God, that was not a British accent.
Oh God.
No, that was no. It wasn't. It wasn't. No. I got notes. I got notes, Daisy. I want to hear what you have to say. I got notes.
Thoughts. And 9. I mean, I butcher every language, so sorry. That thing was intended.
Talk about the accent, Daisy. Talk about Neve's accent.
Right.
Oh my God, Neve's accent.
Now,
Oh,
Daisy,
okay,
I thought
hold
shared
on.
her point.
Neves?
Oh, what's that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Who's Neves?
Neve is the male red-headed alien Coven. He's the lead villain in the episode.
What
Neve
the heck accent
Palpatine.
was? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, Daisy, by the way,
That's
look
his
here.
brother.
Here's what Snortpoop is saying
Neve.
about the putty giggle is wonderful.
Yeah,
It's more of a
Neve.
snicker. It's a snicker, but yes.
Okay.
Go.
Yes. I will say that I did not recognize. I mean, okay, let me say this. I recognized the red lady, but I couldn't put my finger on who she was until I just looked at her picture, and then I went, "Oh, of course," because I could hear the voice and how she was. Her facial expressions were quite good, and her eyes, where she put her eyes and how she spoke with her eyes, and you could see them, because again, that red makeup, I would not have agreed to have that put on. I don't know what the heck accent he was doing. It was very strange, like he was attempting to do something and wasn't quite achieving
Yes,
his goal.
it's actually a paltry version of an Afrikaner accent.
Okay, I thought but you see, I'm not as familiar with that accent. But yeah, I was okay.
And actually, some elements of the plot are kind of, before we started looking at South Africa, it's kind of, looking at the apartheid thing. And so there are elements of the plot in this that I really like, but when they're doing those tiny elements of the plot, like with the previous episode, in this, I don't know if it was the actor or the director, but he was making an attempt. Attempt.
It just didn't seem. It did seem as if it was an actor making an attempt at an accent that he wasn't particularly comfortable with. And sometimes I think with certain actors like Gerard Butler, just let him sound Scottish and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay with me with The Hunt for Red October, with James Bond, can't think of his real name, Sean Connery, and yeah, he's a Russian officer with a Scottish accent. I'm fine with that. Rather than trying to listen to Sean Connery try to sound Russian, I would have cracked up through the whole movie. So I didn't know what accent he was trying to do. I know he was doing yeoman's work at trying to do it, but I was like, I have no clue what you're trying to sound like, and it's sort of irritating. I'm
Well,
sorry,
to be honest, we have a lot of South African Afrikaner emigres here, and so I'm used to the accent. So when I heard the accent, the attempt at the accent, I recognized it. But you would not have, and I understand
No.
that. But what did you think about his facial acting and his body work as an actor in the set?
I thought he pulled that off quite well. Considering that he was painted red.
Yes.
Not as good. I tended to like her acting, her facial acting better.
She's known for that. She's famous for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, sometimes when one actor is particularly good, you sort of don't pay as much attention to the others because you're so cued into what that person is doing and how well they're doing it. And since I was drawn to her facial acting because they were covered in that outfit from head to toe, all you can see is the red paint and then the white of their eyes, and the rest of it is muddied with the black hoods and the weird
collars,
the whole outfit.
And the shoulder
pads.
By the way,
shoulder pads.
A little bit of it here, and I'm going to show that little tiny gun really quickly. I mean, this is like
I gave that to you.
Yes, you did. And all these, the weirdest costumes like that, and the mask really made it really kind of cool. But yeah, Now, Hungry Boy, what did we? Let's see.
Oh, Daisy was not finished yet. I wanted to hear the rest of what she had to say.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry, Daisy. Sorry, Dadman.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to go through my notes.
Well, Hungry, let's hear your thoughts.
Ask me a question.
Let's let Daisy have a few minutes with her notes. Let's give her a few minutes to get with her notes, and you go ahead. To specifically what you've heard JT and my complaints, but let me just before you start, Buddy Hepburn is appreciative of it. He says some of the best scenes in the series are the ones where Buck relives the past and then relives the pain fresh after, including the flashback in this episode.
Well, Buddy, that is an excellent point, and that is in my closing notes that I wrote down 5 hours ago. So thank you, Buddy, for that. No, seriously, Buddy and I are kind of simpatico.
I liked that they went back. It's sort of a dream, sort of memory of going back to set up that, the friend, and he does the joke, opens the door. We have to stop meeting like this, And
it was a good flashback. It wasn't like the flashback episodes where they took old scenes and played them again.
No,
it actually gave you context about Buck in the past.
Yes,
when it was real life.
It was a freshly created, filmed, and acted scene, and even the guy who was playing Buck's best friend was decent in it. But when you have the actress who plays Layla, otherwise known as Jennifer, come in, she's playing two roles in this episode. She's playing the person Buck remembers, but she's also playing the person who has been recreated to be that person. And that is very difficult for any actor or actress to do. And I really appreciate that. I really do. But Daisy, please go on.
Well, no, it's your turn.
Yeah, you go, Hungry. Let her give sometimes to get.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of jumped in there with the comparison of the flashback, but I wanted you to see Buddy's point before you started.
No, that's true. Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that I really enjoy about this episode. In fact, I enjoy almost everything about this episode. So when we first are introduced to the Covens, the red aliens, We see proper costumes, which we did not get in the previous episode. And we have Mary Woronov. And there's only one little goof here that is so cute. There is one gaffe. And she's supposed to say weaponry, but in her first line, she says weaponry. And it's one of the only times she flubs. Actually, it's the only time she flubs any of her lines.
Mhm.
And it's a tiny gaffe, but for the rest of the episode, she is magnificent. She's like a little warrior goddess. And by the way, Dadman, she was
Mhm.
born in Florida. She comes from
Yay.
your place.
All
She's a
right.
Floridian.
That's
And
always good.
and then later on, she had the guts to move to New York and be part of Andy Warhol's 1960s art harem, otherwise known as The Factory. And then she moved to Hollywood, and then she was in Death Race 2000 in 1975, and she was building up a career to be in this. But she created her reputation upon these little expressions, the way she would use her eyes that other actresses were not able to do or would think to do. A little twerk of the mouth, the way she would have 15 different smiles instead of one smile. And we see about 20 different smiles she uses in this episode. And the way that she would shift her shoulders and the way that she would tone down her voice. And to be honest, you know, she's got a very deep voice because people don't realize she's naturally tall. She's 5'11" and a half and barefoot.
Wow.
Barefoot.
Wow.
Yeah. So that deep voice is actually a deep voice because the taller you get, the deeper your voice gets. You got no choice over it. And sometimes that can be sexy, sometimes that can be not so sexy, but for her that's very sexy. And that meant she was able to use that in this role, particularly when she's doing the flirty with Buck. You know, when they're I'll talk about that a bit later, but there are moments where people are really hiring her for the tough gal, the mean gal, the terrifying gal, and that's what she kind of got typecast as. So in this episode, she is perfectly cast to be the Coven deadly warrior woman. Perfectly cast.
So what about your other thoughts with this beyond her? I mean, what did you think with the plot? I mean, you've heard some of our criticisms. What do you think? I'm going to bring one more up of Buddy Hepburn. Hey, this one he thinks could have been better as Ardala, since they could have tied that into them pulling his memories for the androids. So
I agree with that, buddy. I totally agree with that. But you could have had the Ardala hiring the Covens to do it and then have both Mary Woronov and Pamela Hensley as Princess Ardala in the same episode. And that would have been double the joy. Double the joy.
But that would have been 2 more episodes down the drain that they had to cheap out on.
Ah!
Sorry, I kidding. But seriously, go ahead and tell us about your notes. Go ahead, because I know we're pushing a good while here right now. But tell us of what you liked about this episode. Hit the points that you really want to hit.
The other thing that I really do enjoy is that the guy who played Reeve, the other Coven, the head Coven, he was really putting everything into it. And I thought that he was a much better main villain than a lot of main villains we've had in the episode, aside from obviously Ardala and Kane. And his accent, I give him full credits for trying to pull that off. I think his body language was fantastic. I think the sets were a lot better in this episode. I mean, we have a spaceport, which is the equivalent of an airport, and it really did feel like the drudgery and horror of going to an international airport at the beginning of the scene. Sorry, the beginning of the show. And the whole, I mean, honestly, even though Buck is supposed to be fighting off the advances of Nola, played by Mary Woronov, there was a chemistry there that you don't generally see in sci-fi episodes. And I really enjoyed that. And I love the fact that the moment Buck turned her down, she got pissed off at him, but she was still interested in him. And I thought that was fairly realistic. And the other small point I'll bring up is when we were at the beginning of the episode, there is a sign for what we could call the mall where people are shopping. And it looks so much It looks so much like the Disney Jungle Ride sign
Mhm.
back in the
Oh, I
old
noticed it,
Disneyland
yeah.
days.
It was the old Chicago Market sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I adore everything about this episode.
Mhm.
I really do. But now somebody else talk, please.
Daisy, were you able to find any more of your notes?
Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, and you bring up the jungle ride. When I said it looked like the back lot of Universal Studios, my first thought was it does look like in Disneyland where the Jungle Book ride is.
Yes.
They have those type of trees, and you could even see like the pavement, and then where they had large logs upright and then ropes between it to keep people out of the trees and stuff. And yeah, I was thinking, oh, look, it's the Jungle Book. But then I thought, well, maybe it's more like Universal Studios. Both of those parks are in Southern California. I don't know whether they have the same look in Florida. But so yeah, when you said that, I'm going, yeah, it looked like that too. Yeah, I did like that they paged Captain Christopher Pike, and I did the same thing that JD did. My ears perked up then, and I thought, okay, who else are they going to name drop?
Yeah.
And then I missed the Silver Surfer one. I guess I was tuned into what other sci-fi entity are they going to name
Or Star
drop?
Trek, yeah.
Or yeah, well, any Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, anything like that, I was trying to listen for it.
But to be fair to you, Daisy, you're not that much of a comic book person, and Norrin Rad is a comic book name, not so much a movie name.
True. Once you said it, though, I know my husband has said the name of the Silver Surfer, but it didn't. I didn't click with that one. So
yeah, and also, I mean, Norrin Rad Silver Surfer was not presented in television at the time this was being made, so it was a pure comic book joke. So you could not have known it. You could not have known it, really. So don't worry about that. But please keep going, please.
Yeah, just so most of my notes had to do with that. I wasn't a fan of the music for the Mardi Gras, and I've already said that. I was not a fan of the set design for the Mardi Gras, really. The costumes, wrong coloring. I did like that they were colorful.
Yes.
And did look very different than other things we've seen, street scenes. So we got to see 2 street scenes, which again, I was thrilled we were not stuck in hallways again as usual. So to have 2 of them, I'm thinking, oh no, now we'll go through the rest of the season and we won't go outside again. You know?
Yeah, right.
So that would be a bummer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did have a little bit of problems with, at first, Buck seems to, he's like, yeah, I know you're not her. You look like her and you sound like her, but you're not her, because she would act different.
Yeah.
I also did think it was funny that you could exactly replicate her from a photo where Jennifer isn't looking straight on into the camera.
Yep.
She's got a side
And
glance, and I'm thinking humans are not the same on both sides.
In the rib cage up, for all they know, she could have had an enormous rear end or something.
Hey!
And they
Well,
got
you never know.
wrong, you know?
Wrong height and all kinds of things.
Yeah, all kinds of that.
Yeah. But hi, Lemon Pie. Good to see you tonight. Welcome in, Lemon Pie. Good to see you.
Citrus.
All right, JT,
Hello.
you got any other thoughts with this before we're going to turn it to you, Hungry? I know you got a lot of notes, and I want to
I
get
do
got a lot
have
of notes.
before we run out of time, though.
a few quick things here, Dadman. I did find the guy that played the magician in the episode. The character's name was Silby, played by Gino Conforti.
Oh, yeah.
Who had a very, very long career going back to the 60s.
Yeah.
Man of La Mancha, I think, was probably the biggest thing he might have done before that, or Columbo leading into this, or I think he was on the Partridge Family too. So, you know, the face looked familiar, but I just,
It did.
I think he was miscast or it was not his best performance, one or the other.
Oh,
I'll leave it at there. I mean, he's
Oh,
been
God.
in a million things. He obviously
Oh,
has some
God.
talent, right? It just was not
Absolutely.
on display here, in my opinion.
Okay.
The other thing there were a couple things that really just, I know they're nitpicky, but they annoyed me. The way that they had the pilots standing in front of Wilma and
yes.
the professor.
Yes.
And Marianne.
They-
Sorry.
It was like half military, half not. But I'm like, they're
Yeah,
not
right.
really at ease. But you wouldn't brief them at ease standing up. They would clearly be seated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they kind of did like a snap, pivot, dismissed thing, but it was not really. I don't know. It was
It was
very.
not accurate according to what we know today.
No,
Yes.
Yes.
no. I will
Yeah.
say I was critical of this episode, but I did like the way it ended with Dr. Ewer saying they found some wildlife video for Buck from the time and all, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
all that. It was like
I did
it was like-
actually laugh at that.
and then Twiggy's
I
like,
did.
did it just when you thought it was safe in the 25th century?
Yes. Yeah. That
I
was funny.
I do have a question for Daisy and then JT, because Daisy's time is more limited than the rest
Yeah.
of us. What did you think about the plot aspect where they were setting up the shuttle that is an old shuttle? This goes back to like World War II movies where it's an older vessel and they changed the engines. They changed it from ionic engines, they specifically mentioned this, to tachyon engines, so they will be much faster. Did you guys consider this sci-fi jargon, or did you like this in the plot? Because it is integral to the plot, because otherwise, everyone's going to be dead at the end of the episode if the engines were not that fast, retrofitted. How do you feel about that?
I did like that we were going to use older vessels so we wouldn't call attention. It was very political. It was, we're going to help one side and we're not really supposed to be doing that. So we're going to hide stuff in a very old ship and change the engines. I don't like the whole tachyon field thing. Every time there's a problem, it's the tachyon field. And I'm like, yeah, come up with
Build up
something
tachyon
else.
partles in the main deflector. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's just like I'm done with the tachyon thing, and I did dawn on me, a lot of engines are like, you could tell that they'd been changed. I mean, in shows, when they show different types of engines, if you're going to swap a type of engine out, especially like the original Enterprise, they're all going to see that it's the wrong engine. Now they're assuming it's like a car engine where you take your VW Bug engine out and you put a Porsche 911 engine in it.
Right.
And you surprise everyone. It's like, this is not a car. It's a spaceship, and it's not a tiny little engine. You're okay. Whatever.
I had to ask a sci-fi versus sci-fantasy question for you, Daisy, out of respect. But now, JT, please go on.
Go ahead.
I had a problem with it, but for a slightly similar, but maybe slightly different reason. I think we both agree, though. I didn't really have a problem with them saying, yeah, we swapped out an ion drive for his tachyon unit.
Yeah.
Whatever the exact phrasing was. I was like, okay, tachyons. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Buddy.
I let that roll off pretty quickly. I did like that they were kind of going for this kind of sleeper of a ship in a way. However, it's very true if you're looking at fighter combat. Even in that day, a lot of your radar signature or IR heat signature is based upon the engines in your fighter jet or your bomber, whatnot, building the signature for the craft. Star Trek, it's very well known that they alter their warp field or other things to try to conceal for the fact that they're not really the ship that they're pretending to be. So if you do swap out the engines, it's going to be pretty obvious on long range detection that something is not quite right with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also don't know why the Stargate was 6.5 hours away from the planet. It seems like you would put the planet in the Stargate. Well, you'd put the Stargate closer to the planet, not the other way around. I thought that was kind of weird. The thing that annoyed me far and away above all the rest of this was they were separately talking about two different freighters. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be Jar Jar Abrams convenient if they happen to run into each other on the one freighter they were going after? And of course they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Yep. All right, Hungry. Tell us why you love this episode. What are the good points that you have for us? Why should JT and I consider this a great episode?
Oh geez.
What made it special for you? You got plenty of notes.
I got plenty of notes. Well, I mean, number one, it was great to hear Buck use the word astute. And Daisy knows what I mean because she's a teacher. Again, showing that he's an astronaut. And it is proving that astronauts are not meatheads. Astronauts are never meatheads. So when he confronts Reeve and says, very astute, my ears pricked up. And I love the fact that Reeve and the actor who played him is one of the best acted villains in Buck Rogers, not just this episode, but he's consistent in the way that he presents himself. And when, Buck says, basically, I thought, sorry, Leia says, I thought you said you weren't going to kill him. And he says, under different circumstances, yes, but not now. And that's a very different type of villain than we've had on this show until now. So there is a theatrical consistency to his role that is, it is only capable with a nice combination of director and writer and actor. And I thought that he did a beautiful job. And with Layla's final scene, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes when I was a kid watching it. Needed 3 tissues, not going to lie. Watching it again, poor gal. And it was oddly more realistic for such a scene than most of what we get in most sci-fi or science fantasy, with the way she's saying, but was I a good Jennifer for you? And this is the last thing she's saying on her deathbed, so to speak. That meant a lot to me. A lot to me. To have this be in science fiction, science fantasy, and her saying essentially, at least I did one good thing. And Buck is just, I mean, Gil Gerard, I mean, the looks on his face there, I think he was really feeling this scene. I thought that was one of the best closing death scenes I've seen in science fiction ever, quite frankly. And the other thing is that, I mean, sadly, in genre television or movies, there's this idea in Hollywood that they need to prescribe, proscribe, or ascribe people having a continuous romantic relationship. So the idea is that it's going to take down the romantic or dramatic tension if people get together and, let's say, Buck and Wilma end up having a continual relationship, or Buck and Jennifer, otherwise known as Layla, have a continual relationship, because it's going to cut down on the tension for the audience. That has been proven untrue. Heart to Heart proved it untrue. Agatha Christie's Tommy and Tuppence proved it untrue. It has been proven untrue a lot, but unfortunately here, we could not let Buck have a happy ending. Now, that's one of my only complaints about the show, but I understand why they did that, because they thought, we don't know how many more episodes we're going to get. We don't even know if we're going to get season 2. I get it. But eventually you come to a point where let the hero be happy.
Well, the thing is they didn't ever want to decide to commit with Wilma and him. So
Yeah, true.
and that would have been one obstacle if you had her around and a happy ending. Is then you would, especially at that point, that would have put it. Well, they wouldn't have been able to do anything with it because then without her dying, because especially their sensitivities to marriage and stuff that like back then, I don't think that they would have been as open about potentially adulterous relationships and stuff like that, on TV. I mean,
How
I
would
could
it
be
be
wrong.
adulterous? She was not married.
Well,
and
no.
Wilma was not married.
If Buck and her were hooked up, and then Wilma suddenly decided she wanted to make a move on Buck, and they had that tension.
But that's
now,
dramatic tension. That's dramatic tension. That's
Well,
what
but it's a lot
Dynasty in
on
Dallas
television.
was about.
Okay, all right. Well, see, I'm still young. I remember I'm still old, but I was still young with a lot of that. I just didn't know. Okay, I accept.
All I'm saying is that it is a mistake to say that just because you have a hero, he can't be happy and carry on dramatic tension.
Absolutely, I do agree with you on that point. We like happy heroes. The poor Buck's been suffering enough,
Yeah, well,
He's 500
precisely.
years
And I'll
old
just
already.
I will add one more thing, and Daisy
Mm-hmm.
knows this because she's my age, and I think JT will know this. The Jaws movie joke at the ending was good. It was one of the
It was
few good
hilarious.
jokes.
I
it was
actually
great.
It was like
did laugh out loud, not
Dr.
figuratively either.
Dr. Hewer was like mandible or mouth, or I don't remember.
Mandible, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's
The documentary too, which I
Yeah.
thought was hilarious. that
Yeah, I
they
like
would
the
misinterpret
documentary.
that.
Well, there is a lot of
Timothy-
documentary shit and Jaws. There's a lot of documentary stuff in
but
Jaws.
see,
they bring up a lot of scientific
What
facts in the
what
movie.
amazes me, Tim O'Connor and Aaron Gray with their dead face delivery of some of those lines, knowing that they lived at the time those shows actually, but yet completely talking like clueless people 500 years from now, just selling it. It was just, I think, another credit to the great acting in this series.
Okay, Daisy and JT, there's one significant singular aspect to the music in this episode. It's very quiet. It's in the incidental music. There is electric guitar using fuzz distortion. Do you agree that was the right move to make or not? It's not disco. They went away from disco. There's like the nasty sort of guitar moments in the background. No more disco.
I did note there was no disco, and I did note the beginning. Right at the beginning, there was a very triumphant style of music to start the episode off, which I really liked. I'm usually trying to listen for the music. I must have missed the guitar with distortion because I sometimes like that sound, actually.
I really do too. If
it's done correctly, if you're not just messing with the feedback to be cute.
True.
So
I can tell you the moment. I can tell you the moment it's in. It's when Wilma is telling the person running the shuttle, the fake shuttle, to not answer any messages from any other vessel.
Okay.
That's where it is.
Unfortunately, I didn't pay that much attention to it in memory because she said, instead of you have the con, you have the calm.
Yeah, she did say calm instead of con.
and so that
I didn't hear it. I was too busy looking at her.
That messed me all up, Hungry.
Yeah,
that's what I took out of that scene.
True. Yes, I caught that, and I'm going. He's in charge of the communications, and he's not in charge of the bridge.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good, guys. That's great.
They did it. They actually wrote it in the closed caption too. It said calm, not con.
Well, I mean, were any of you three sad at the end? Did you get a little tear in your eye when she was going away? You know what I mean by going away?
Yeah. It was like, why? Just no, but then again, here I know. Well, yeah, but I was more preoccupied with how the hell did the gun all of a sudden become lethal? I'm still stuck. I mean, I love my pew pews, but God, come on. I mean, at least Star Wars, they had the little blue rings for stun guns, you know, and red blaster bolts usually for lethal ones. And this one is like everybody's shooting everybody. Everybody gets up, walks off, except in this one case, she doesn't get up. But sorry. It's just see, that stuck with me though. That little detail stuck to me because everybody gets up except for this one case. I just anyway,
I'll be right
sorry.
back. Hold on.
Did you see Men in Black with the cricket gun?
Yeah, I did it because it shot him so far backwards and stuff like that. I get because they had guns that blew things up and all. I don't love this show and all, but I mean we had the one blaster that actually disintegrated somebody once before, and a bomb too at the same time. So it's like, what are y'all got your settings on? Stun, other, lethal? It's like just too funny. But yeah, go ahead, Daisy or JT, one of y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know what they were going for at the end. I guess maybe I was just having my own moment with the fact that unfortunately that's not how people die. I mean, it would be lovely to think that, you know, she can say all these wonderful things to him and he can say things back, and then she just closes her eyes, and I guess I was kind of taken out by that's not how it works, unfortunately. I know what they were going for though. I mean, I understood that was very obvious what they were going for. Yeah, go ahead, JT.
I was going to say one more thing on the ending joke there with the Jaws reference. You know, this actually was a Valentine's Day episode, so it did fit the theme with Valentine's Day rather well, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But the other thing that came out from Universal in 1980 was Jaws on VHS.
Oh, good point.
So
nice.
I don't know the exact week it came out, but you're sitting here 1 + 2, you know, this very well was likely a plug done for Jaws because it was, you know, probably imminently out on VHS at the time. But it was still a hilarious joke. But I was like, wait a minute, you know, why are they bringing up a licensed property from that? You know, I'm not, you know, that naive, I guess. But it doesn't take away from the joke, but it is an interesting historical kind of tie in with that. I did have one more thing that's kind of a squirrel off topic on this. I did have a hilarious just moment at the beginning of the episode, about 5 minutes in, when Buck goes to bed in his own quarters. He goes to bed in bunk beds. And instead of it being a regular bed like we see in every other episode on this show, it's clear, inflatable pool lounge.
Bubble wrap.
You're going to lay in the pool. It's one of those.
Oh, dude.
And then it has one of those clear domes where your head would be, like if you're going to get a perm at a hair salon.
And then he didn't actually line his head up with that bubble.
Yes.
I was thinking, oh, he's going to be under the bubble, and because he doesn't feel well, they're going to shine some blue light and call it tachyon fields or whatever the heck.
Nope.
And nothing happened, and I'm going, okay. And why did you take the top bunk? Obviously, he pushed a button, it came down, and then he slept on the bottom one. So why did you show us the top bunk?
Yeah, why is it there? Why doesn't he sleep on a regular bed like we see in every other episode, especially in Ardala's chambers, so to speak?
Nice.
Just a hilarious, like, why did you do this kind of moment?
It was sci-fi.
But now we know why Wilma doesn't spend the night, I guess, because
hey, oh wow, She's used to better.
All
Is that what
right.
you're saying? Oh,
Well,
dude.
yeah.
Of course, a fine lady like her deserves better than that. Than a pool float. But yeah.
No argument.
All right, hungry.
No argument.
Hungry. We took a detour with that with JT Kirk. What do you? What other points do you have? What do you have in your notes for us?
I
with
only
this?
have. I only have one that I want to share. Only
All right,
one.
cool. That's right.
So in Buck Rogers, we get some attempted poignant scenes, but truly poignant scenes are a bit rare. But the shot at the end with the death of Layla, otherwise known as Jennifer, and the camera is pulling back and showing Buck alone, cradling a dead woman that he had come to love, even though it was not the woman that he thought she was, amidst only dead people around him, the other Covens, was very emotionally hard-hitting, even to me in my 50s compared to when I saw it when I was a kid. And it is a smaller size reflection of what he's already gone through, losing everyone he loves, being alive and being alone in the world of the dead. And only the technology remains. The technology is beeping in that final scene of this episode.
But he said they explained the bed in an earlier episode.
Yeah, but to keep going with what I'm saying, it is a very well directed, very well written, very well conceived moment in this series, which shows Buck will always be alone no matter what he does. And it's very, very melancholy, but it is very apt.
And I do agree it was one of the better scenes in the whole series so far. I do agree with that. Absolutely. Exactly. So, Buddy's now talking about no pillows. So he's got to have his pillows, I guess. All right. Well, before we folks, stick around. Snortopoopas, do I have your permission to show that in just a few minutes? Because we've had a wonderful debate in the chat. So, guys, are we ready to grade? If we are, Daisy Blossom, how would you grade this on your normal school grades?
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say C. I could take it or I'm sorry. There were parts of it that were cool. I guess I just that the end kind of as I say, I saw what they were trying to do, but it's not. I guess I just got hung up on. Unfortunately, that's not how death goes.
Oh wow!
It's not. I wish that it was. I know.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Hungry.
No, it's okay.
Sometimes you can't control when things pull you out. So, and yeah, I get what they were going for. I know Buck needs to be alone. It just didn't quite connect enough with me. It was very cool. I got what they were going for. The acting was good, but I couldn't quite get into it enough. So I'm going to give it a C.
Okay. I got a question for you though, just before we close off with that, Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Buck kissing women, we have seen Buck kiss Ardala, and we've seen Buck kiss fake Jennifer, otherwise known as Layla. Which do you think was the more real kiss?
Jennifer.
Aha, thank you.
All right, JT, what do you think with this episode?
Going with the educational score theme, see me after class.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, are we calling parents? Yikes.
Oh,
we might be.
That's like one of my old bosses. It's like when you got the review note, see me. It was like, oh crap.
The pain.
Right.
No, my delicate back, Will. My delicate back. Oh, the pain.
All right, Hungry, your turn. After that explosive.
I want to hear more from JT on that one. Explain yourself, young man.
Go ahead, JT.
I hated the ending. Except for the joke. I hated that final scene. I thought she was such a weak character that she didn't deserve him, and that's not how people are deleted. You don't get that 10-minute back and forth.
True.
Keep going.
I did not like the depiction of New Orleans with the stupid magician. I thought Buck was not written believably to his character because he did not have any of his suspicious nature at all with this woman. And I don't know. I felt like they missed a golden opportunity in his quarters or in his apartment in the memory, in the dream of playing some really nice disco music, on the radio or something.
Disco music.
Yep.
You had to bring that up. Okay, if you're going to bring up disco music to me, I'm going to ask you this about your thing about Buck not being suspicious. Okay.
Okay.
Have you or any of your best friends or siblings ever had love at first sight where you can't get away from it? Yes or no?
Oh gosh. I'd have to go with probably no.
See, I have 5 times. So I understand where Buck is coming from. There will be no logic when love at first sight comes into it. And it was pretty clear Buck was love at first sight with Jennifer.
Mhm.
Not necessarily Layla. Not necessarily Layla, but he was trying to get there with Layla. He was trying in the episode. So I am a romantic. I've been having crushes for so long. That's why I disagree with you, but I absolutely love what you said. And I agree that you are right and I am incorrect, but I'm still going to love the episode.
Oh, and that's
No worries.
That's totally fine. You said this was one of your top 5. I'm totally not that my opinion matters in it, but I totally understand why you could pick this one as one of your top 5. It's not in my bottom 5 of what we've seen so far. It just doesn't do it for me. Now, the clip show, if this was See Me After Class, the clip show was like 2-week out of school suspension. So I mean, there are lower rungs to be had. There's a range underneath this episode still.
This is not an echo chamber. No, it's
All
not
right,
an
Hungry
echo
Boy,
chamber.
it's your turn. Tell us what you really think with this. How much do you love this?
I love this enough to give it. I will not give it an A+, but I will give it an A.
Okay.
An A.
Okay.
All right. Well, that sounds good. I'm more like Daisy. I'm more in the C range. I would say middle grade. 3 popcorns out of 5. Just there's a lot of good that was in it and good points, like you said, but I just didn't have the thing for me, and it's, I don't know, I'm just still stuck on the pews and some consistency with it, and it was good in drama, it was good and dramatic, but I'm feeling myself needing a little more space battle action, and that may be disappointing, and we'll see what happens. But we'll talk about more in the future, what comes on as we close up. But that's kind of what I thought. So the 3 of y'all, so I'm going to grab the chat a little bit more, but any final thoughts on this episode before we go to close up?
Daisy?
No.
Sort of Poopa said, I met some food that was love at first bite. Absolutely.
I can say some food that was love at first bite, but I don't think she wants me to list her name publicly. But go ahead.
Oh, dear.
All right. All right, JT and Hungry. Any final thoughts with this episode before I do a squirrel chase on the way out the door?
JT first.
Make some announcements.
I was happy with both episodes this week, and this one was not like offensive to me. And we seem to get one good one and one offensive one. Most weeks. So I mean, I wasn't soured by this on the show, even though I didn't like the episode. I think there's definitely room for people to really enjoy it. So don't let me dunking on it.
Like
totally
we always say,
fill
watch
everybody with a negative view.
Like we say, watch it for yourself, judge for yourself. Because I'm like
Right.
JT Kirk.
Yep.
It's truly one of those things that we just did not hit us right. But for
Right.
others, it worked, and that's, just always watch stuff for yourself, decide for yourself. Hey, Twilight Linkable, good to see you. We're talking about Buck Rogers in the 25th century. We're about to wrap up, but I may do something in a little bit. I got to talk to people afterwards, whether it's a fortnight or whether it's a panel. I don't know. But either way, I can't stay up too late tonight. But hey, oh man. But hey, you guys, thank y'all for coming in. We got 12 people watching, 11 on the YouTube side. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, 1 following on Twitch. So hey, make sure you follow on Twitch. So without any further thoughts, we got a little talking earlier in the chat here. We got the great snorter Poopus Cuber talked about a 426 Hemi in my Yugo. And see,
Nice.
Snorter Poopus, if you don't mind, I may also use this for another stream when I need something goofy to talk about. Good news is he broke the time barrier. The bad news is the car shook itself apart. So that's kind of sci-fi. We got a spaceship. Kind of remember the Draconian ship that blew up on the test, Kane's test fighters on, and blew up on his stuff. Anyway, but
I wonder if he got up to 88 miles an hour in that thing before it shook itself apart.
But Buddy says it'll fit if you had to take the seats out and sit on the roof.
Wow, buddy, that's good. That's good.
Exactly. And Emily Gangadine, hello. Good to see you again. Hello. Emily's been with us a couple weeks. First came into my chat when we were out of town in Georgia doing a live stream on a town square.
Oh, nice.
And has been with us since. Lovely. And that's Sammy, her puppy.
Oh, lovely dude.
Exactly. And Daisy and Hungry will tell you I'm a big puppy guy. So.
No kidding.
Yes, we know.
Oh my gosh. That was awesome. Well, listen.
But you're a very nice puppy.
Yes, he's a fine puppy. He's not a Burmese kitty, but he's a fine puppy. Yes, absolutely. You know what I mean, Daisy? I heard you cackle. I heard you cackle. You know what I mean?
She doesn't cackle. She giggles.
Well, sometimes she snickers. She has a bit of a snicker at a moment.
But hey,
I'm gonna stop laughing.
No,
never. No.
It's her power over us. But here's Snorter Poopus having found a 426 Hemi in a Yugo.
In a Yugo. My sister-in-law used to have a Yugo. Oh my God.
Wow. I love that.
Whoa.
Holy crap. Oh,
the quietest ride out there.
88 miles an hour.
That would be so useful. Oh,
why do I feel like the front end would be up in the air and the back end would be lower to the ground with that weight in the back?
Like half of my girlfriends. Yes. Go ahead.
The Hungry Boy dating stories tonight.
You'd also get about 10 miles out of those tires, but hey, you're assuming you make it alive that far.
No, but that dating story joke, that goes back to, Mary Woronov is not my physical type, okay? But I adore her. I have had a crush on her since I was 9 years old, even though she's not my type. And she was so magnificent in this second episode of Buck Rogers and Jennifer. Any other actress would have totally just dropped the ball in this episode. But that scene where she's flirting with Buck when they're trying to do, we talked about it earlier, but she's trying to get, you need a stronger woman. You need a woman with gumption. And she's using that deep voice, which is so much deeper than any other female voice. And Buck is sitting there saying, bugger off, sister, please. I'm busy.
Bugger off, you bastards, bugger off. That's speaking of that, should be back to karaoke with Ramblin' Canuck tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. That triggers that final song for that. But this is what it is. So let me look at the size of that belt, the width of that belt, 2 big, huge valve covers. Wow, it's just amazing. So, like Corey said, talk about going deaf.
I actually think you probably have to have the windows down to get enough air into that thing.
Probably, yes.
Otherwise.
Put it at the top of a hill and aim it down with all the windows, and then you could probably be okay.
Yeah. Well, on that note, folks, we're going to end this stream. We've got to end. We managed to get it all in before in the time that we could have. Buddy said he got Deuce Bigelow vibes with your last comment, Hungry Boy. So
thank you, buddy.
Now I don't know what we're going to do next. Honestly, I'm going to talk to a few people and see if it's kind of good night for now. But stay around for some announcements. I got a long day tomorrow. I'm not sure about Fortnite tonight, but I may do a panel thing, but I need to talk to a few people first. So we may be back very shortly for something else. So, and if you are going to bed, sleep well. So Snort Poopa thinks that car was probably taken at the photo was probably taken at a car show in Illinois.
I love Chicago. Hey.
Yeah, we do. Jess is from up that way. So yeah, we love Chicago.
Maybe best pizza in the world.
Maybe not as much as the Blues Brothers, but
you know, JT, you had that. Oh boy, oh my God, it's so good.
And for Michigander to compliment Illinois. Oh, hey, Stunning. Oh man,
hey, Stunning.
He just woke up. Well, Stunning, oi, back to you. Who knows? I'm glad you made it. I don't know if I do something in a few minutes. Get ready. It just depends on what I feel like in a minute. But I got to get up, take a break, and like I said, long day tomorrow. But hey, Daisy Blossom, she's limited with our time tonight. But Daisy, best of you. Luck to you this week. Happy, just everything you got going on. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hungry and JT, great as always, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to them in just a minute, but look here, this is what's coming up tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Gray from Wakasashi's Tea House. We're going to be talking Japan, some Gojira -1 color and other stuff that we want to talk about and learn more about him in Japan and some other things. It was a special moment that we had with him on our New Year's live stream. Maybe you were with us watching that. So,
I was.
Appreciate you doing that. And go JT, put Stunning's link out there if you can for me. I know he's busy, but yeah. So Stunning Brave is getting ready for a stream tomorrow. Go watch him do his builds and his art. Wonderful guy out here. Great supporter too with this channel. And thank you everything you do, Stunning. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. So I got to run to a fort, get some pictures tomorrow night. For a show I'm prepping. I'm supposed to be on with a show Sunday night. Watch me on Twitter, and I'll announce it more there when closer to the time. So a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow night karaoke with Rambling Canuck. Look at Twitter for that. Then also next Wednesday night we'll have more Sports Weekly with Dadman, where we'll be talking about the NFL playoffs again. We'll be speaking of this. We nearly missed it. We got a matchup here on our panel. We got the Detroit Lions with JT Kirk against and on the road against the great 49ers and Daisy Blossom. So
Detroit.
JT and Daisy.
I hope, Bucky, if you're listening, the kids are in bed. With all that French.
That's just a sample of the great French I can do. But,
yeah.
No, I'll stop there. But anyway.
Parlez-vous Francesi, mate. Parlez-vous Francesi.
No thanks. I gave it to Office. I love that. I'm better off dead.
Daisy got it. Daisy got it. She knew
I did. Parlez-vous Francesi.
You'll have to watch Wednesday night to see who we got going to the Super Bowl. Twilight Linkable. So,
JT, may the best team win.
Agreed. Which, we all know which team that's going to be.
No, we do. Yes.
I love it.
No, it should be a great time. I hear the weather's supposed to be really nice for the game. So it'll be great for the folks at the stadium, who paid a ton of money to go see that.
Yes.
At least it won't be raining or snowing on them.
Oh, by the way, Daisy,
no, it won't be.
Oh, it won't be raining. Cool.
I don't think so.
Did you hear that? I don't know if you were able to hear the show the other night, but JT knew of some people that sold 40-yard line seats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. About halfway.
You know how much? Yeah, for the first game, not last week's game, almost $900 per ticket.
Oh yeah, it's
like
that's a very expensive stadium they built, and Yeah, and I can imagine that the tickets are incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not going
Oh,
to the game.
no, I don't blame you. Stay off the roads too. I'm sure. Don't get anywhere near the stadium.
No, I'm watching it on TV. Thank you.
There you go. Well, I know in this week I've got the Chiefs winning, and I guess I am on the record for the game. Twilight Inkable. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the Chiefs and the Niners meeting up at the Super Bowl,
Mm,
and
maybe.
JT has the Chiefs and the Lions.
Mhm.
So, although
So then I can
I'm-
be, head to head with Sci-Fi Mambi in 2 weeks.
yeah, either one of y'all will be head to head with Sci-Fi Mambi, but I'm in a horrible position. You two guys, you and Daisy are both great. I'll be honest. I think that either one wins. I'll be happy for both of y'all. If that's what's going to happen. The emotional side of me has to be Detroit. I mean, the rags to riches. The one. I mean, the history of the franchise with futility. You gotta kind of there's a draw with that. There's always a draw with that. But that's why I still
Dr.
think
Leonard McCoy would be very proud of you, sir.
What a Star Trek joke. Honestly, that's the Super Bowl ring for you, JT.
Who's
Super Bowl
Leonard
ring for
McCoy,
you.
by the way? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I know. JT, you don't have to go crazy on me. I'm just saying that. But he says it's supposed to be upper 60s to 70s per the forecast.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and JT, thank you for putting the Mrs. link out there too. For tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow night at 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is her morning Muses Daily. She's only one sub away from 150. So if you haven't gone a sub, please go get her over the top. So,
I didn't say a word.
I know you didn't. Daisy never gave me a crap after that happened.
Nope,
but
I did not.
Thank you, buddy.
I zipped the lip.
You're welcome, Mrs. So join us Wednesday night for more sports talk. And folks, this is a show that may expand coming down the road beyond just me as a solo host, and become a true weekly type sports show. May move in terms of nights, may move in terms of time and format, but be looking for more of this going on. Of course, we have chill chats or something when I go live by myself, or maybe one special guest. Fortnite and fun. I've done a few nights recently with the missus recently, and great times, great turnouts, really, and love having you guys. And then sometimes I'll just go random playing with everybody tonight. And also, Late Night with Dadman and Friends is a show I really need to get off the ground. I just have got to get it's been a lot of life and travel.
You have to get me off my ass so I can be there. You've told me that privately. Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. All right. And so, folks, we may do this tonight. We may do. So just let me, like I said, just let me
I'm ready.
know.
I'm ready.
We'll see. The thing is how much I can hold out. But if we talk tonight, it's going to be prawns and shrimp.
Oh,
and we may look at the Yugo again. So come back and join us for that. If we do that, I need a few minutes between shows. But with all else, yes. And of course, next Friday night we will be back here for another Buck Rogers episode review. Corey actually asked earlier, and I'm not trying to drag it out, but he did ask something about this. With us the next show after this one, we are planning finishing season 1.
Yeah.
Then we're going to take a few weeks off, let everybody kind of look at season 2 a little bit.
Yes.
Because season 2, as I understand, is a bit different.
Oh no, it's a lot different. It's a lot.
Then we're going to
more science fantasy. Okay. It's more science fantasy.
Well, then we may, and then we're going to come back together and decide whether we want to continue to do this, we want to stay together, or if we want to maybe do a different show. So I don't know. So currently the plan would be theoretically to keep going with this show to the end, but just keep watching and stay around, and we'll figure out what we're going to do. So okay, all right. With that, I wanted to get that point in real quick. So all the links: Twitch, YouTube, Dadman Walking 55, my Twitter, Dadman Walking 5. So follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. So thank you, and everybody. Thank you again, guys. Everybody here tonight in chat. Hope to see you in a few minutes. If we do, get your notifications on YouTube, or like I said, also follow me on Twitter, and you'll get the notification if we do go live. But got to evaluate a few things first. And on that note, everybody, see you next time. Maybe in a few minutes. We'll see. Bye,
Sweet
y'all.
dreams. Nighty-o.
Bye.
Beep, 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 beep.